But I think the development of full artificial intelligence will spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody's checking it out.
I don't know whether rockets or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
You said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please, please help!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest. Into the digital darkness.
Yo ho, yo ho. Welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're here with our special co-host, James of Salsido Paranormal, and we'd like to say hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. This show is live. We do this live to include you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course, to take your phone calls. We're streaming on DLive, Rockfin, Twitter, what did I forget? And YouTube. How did I forget YouTube? So forgettable, that YouTube. And of course, we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and this is a show where we get together and talk about all those things that we're not allowed to talk about. You know what they are? Aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and the general feeling that we live in the upside down. And so that's what's going on tonight. We have got haunted dolls on our minds. Can objects become haunted? And of course, love to hear your input on this. Does anybody out there have haunted dolls? Have you ordered one on eBay? We'll get to that. And yes, so if you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. And let's waste no more time. Let's get to our good buddy, James. James of Salsido Paranormal. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Right on. Right on. Pleasure's ours, man. Good stuff you're doing over there on your podcast. You want to tell everybody a little bit about it so they can go download your episodes and spook themselves out in the perfect Halloween timing?
Oh, yeah. This is the best time of year for any of this stuff. But yeah, so I've had several experiences over the years, and that led me to look for other stories from other people. And that led me to make my podcast, Salsido Paranormal. And that can be found at salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. It's SALSIDO. And there I just share true ghost stories from the web and from anyone that wants to submit them. And then do a topic-based episode similar to this. Although not with the call-ins as of yet, but just brief dives into topics. So it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and if you are lazy style and don't like to type in the names in Google, well, just scroll down. James's link is right below on both Rockfin and on YouTube tonight. So just scroll on down and click on his podcast link there and give him some love. Give him some downloads. Listen to what's going on over on Salsido Paranormal. He streams 3 times a week and is doing good work over there. So thanks for that, and thanks for being here tonight. Let's get into this. Like we were kind of I've been talking about doing one kind of paranormal type show every week, all the way as we march toward Halloween, right? And so here we are. We're getting ever closer. What is the date today? I don't even know what the day is. It's the 21st. 10 days from Halloween. And so as we get closer and closer, we get more and more spooky with the stories and the things and the topics. And what better than a good old-fashioned haunted doll story? So there's a lot of them, apparently. We were going through, James and I were looking through some of the stories out there on the interwebs. And, well, of course, there's a lot of them regarding dolls, and there's Dybbuk boxes and all kinds of weird stuff, right? So we're just going to talk about that tonight. And of course, we want to hear your stories. If you guys have any kind of haunted doll stories or haunted objects, I guess that's the overall theme of this show. And that's what's on my mind tonight. Is it possible for objects to become haunted? And how come dolls in particular seem to have that extra special haunting factor? I don't know. You got any theories on that, James, on why exactly it's dolls mostly?
Well, just based on everything that we kind of looked at and just little bits of heard before, it does seem like they were used in the further back you go as, as kind of like vessels for different deities to inhabit, or at least to represent. I think that's probably where it started. And over time that evolved to people believing that spirits of deceased people, whether it was unfortunately kids or anyone really, could move to dolls and inhabit them instead.
Yeah, so the old, maybe like a statue, right? Like the old deities kind of worshipped in the form of a statue sort of situation, right? Something like that. And then it evolves. Like I was reading some stuff too on some of the theories here on where they come from and all the rest of this. And there seems to be a close human connection with dolls, and right, because as very small children, people, little children, small children seem to cling to them, seem to adopt them as these sort of imaginary friends, sleep with them, carry them around everywhere they go, all the rest of this stuff. So it does seem that there's some sort of that human connection going on here with these particular objects, and maybe why they're a little easier to maybe inhabit from the spirit world. So yeah, I don't know. So we're going to talk about that tonight as we go. And anything to add to that, James? We got a phone call already. Hopefully we got some ghost stories on the line. But anything to add to that? No, the theory there.
I think it's that's a valid one too. I think there's a lot of things that probably go into it, and yeah, very interesting. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the phone calls, of course.
Okay, as always, we're taking your phone calls, guys. And if you have any kind of haunted doll stories, or again, the questions tonight are as simple as this: do you think it's possible for objects to become haunted, and why in particular is it dolls? Why does it always seem to be dolls in this hoarder haunting trope? So let's go to this phone call. It looks like we've got Angela in Kentucky. Welcome to the show. You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and James. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Right on. Welcome to the show.
Okay, so I've got 2 doll stories and one haunted object story, but I'll start with the dolls.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, well, one of them was when I was a kid, and interestingly enough, this happened around the same time that I had my first ET encounters. Okay, so I don't know if one had to do with the other, or if the doll was being used as a cover memory. But I met this girl, and she had one of those 3-foot-tall dolls, that are like people-sized, the really big ones in the back of her closet. And I was like, oh, gosh, that's amazing. I mean, I've always wanted one of those, and she hated it. She didn't want anything to do with it. And I said, well, I'll have it. She's like, no, you can't have it. It's evil. It's possessed. It's all these things. And I'm like, oh, that's ridiculous. So I talked her into it. She gave me the doll. She says, I'm warning you. This is on you now. I'm like, okay, whatever. I took it home, cleaned it up, made it my best friend, that whole thing. And I had the absolute worst nightmare of my life. And this doll was attacking me. It was fighting me, and it ended up, it was trying to bite me, and it got the back of my hand. And I woke up from the pain, and I had a scar that I did not have before on the back of my hand. And the very next thing, I took that doll outside the next day, put it in the burn barrel, and I torched it. That was the end of that. Okay, but again, this is feeding into the beginning of my experiences with ETs. So I don't know if that scar and the whole doll thing was like a cover memory. I mean, it's something that actually happened. I don't know. But that was intense. It was very physical. So that was really creepy. Lots of details, but that's the short version. Anyway, just a few months ago, like within the last year, I got a phone call to do a remote viewing for a house clearing. They couldn't find the thing that was in the house. And so they called me, and they don't have to say anything. As soon as I know who's on the phone, I've already got it. And I immediately start feeling this softball-sized, round, cold thing in my hand. And as I'm feeling this thing in my hand, I'm describing that it's like cold like a stone, but it's hollow, and it has hole in it, but there's no lid. There's no lid, and I'm describing this thing, and it ended up being the head of a porcelain doll that I was describing. And I said, it's in this thing, and that's what it ended up being, was a porcelain doll of an angel that the entity was hiding inside of the doll. And as I located it, they went to get the doll, and the doll shattered.
Oh.
They were in the house looking for it while I was telling them where it was. The doll just shattered. And that was completely crazy. So, but I think, as far as the dolls go, it has something to do with the eyes. For me, it's the windows. Just like, the eyes are the windows to the soul or whatever. They like the dolls because they have eyes, and they can easily see out. And not that they can't see out of anything anywhere, but there's something about, looking through the eyes of something. I think there's something there. And then children, they imbue these things with so much love. I mean, that's a lot of energy. You have your kid loses his favorite stuffed animal. I mean, it's a disaster, because they're so emotionally invested in this object. And I think that's where a lot of the energy comes from that charges these things. But the other one was an object, and that the same person that I did the remote viewing for, we really connected somehow. And I had this 3-night saga event, and in it were these particular objects. And I had asked him, and I was telling him about this whole event because it was very, very intense. And it was actually, I found out who the real person was that I was helping through this event. It was a real person I had never met before. I actually made contact with them, and their whole situation was a documented mass shooting that they were involved in as victims. And so it was a whole thing. But one of the objects was a rosary, and it was made from, it was like a blue or white jasper type stone, blue and white speckled stones. And I was telling him about all of this event, and he said he couldn't believe it because he goes, I have that rosary. And now I know what to do with it because it's one of those objects that he keeps, from one of his house clearings or whatever. Then he seals them up and does all that stuff, just like the doll. It's in a bag, it's in a box, it's got salt on it. I mean, the whole 9 yards, okay? So this particular object was something that I had identified in my experience that he actually has possession of. And because of the experience that I had, he was able to identify the entity that was attached to it and now could seal and or dispose of the object and the entity properly. So stuff like that. But that's the quick version, but those are my stories. So
that's pretty wild. I think it's difficult to say that when you have things happen like that, like actual physical things happen, right? Like this isn't like, oh, I had a dream and maybe conflated the two. No, like you had physical things happen. Holy moly! So was all this? Did all this stuff happen a long time ago, or is some of this stuff more recent?
No, just within the last year or two was the doll and the rosary. It was just very recent. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. And so do you think it's again more of like a luck situation, or do you think you have something in you where you're drawing maybe the types of spiritual encounters to yourself?
I don't know that it's drawing to myself, or I am being taken into these things. I am sought out in the astral realm and asked to help these people. Essentially, I don't know to go there. I just arrive and know what to do. And what happened was, after the first night, I had posted on Facebook about these objects, asking questions about specific objects because they were so important and so integral to the situation. And as soon as I posted it, another post popped up, and this lady was asking about, she really needed help. This is a serious situation. And I instantly got a name, and I just posted the name. And she goes, "That's my aunt's name. What do you know?" And we started talking, and everything that had happened the night before was about her aunt. And so the next following 2 nights, I continued with the contact and was able to, remedy the situation and help heal her from that horrific thing that she had been through. But I met their entire family that was still alive, family that had passed. They had all come to me. And, they had the personalities, the way they talked, their hair, you name it. I had the guy's keychain. I described so many things, the city, the actual path from where it happened through the park back to their house, all of this stuff. And I had, of course, no prior knowledge whatsoever, but it was very intense and very detailed and very dead-on exact. And she was, completely blown away. But ultimately, I had to, identify the location and the thing that was causing all of the harm. And it was I had to send someone else in to take care of it because I was basically told, you don't go in there alone. So I sent someone else to remove the entity, but I was able to, again, I'd locate things, and that's what I'm always doing. I'm constantly being pulled into situations where I can see stuff they can't see, but once they know where it is, then someone else goes in and gets it, kind of a thing. But I'm constantly being thrown into these situations where I'm looking for something and I locate stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's just completely spontaneous. But when it gets validated and it's a real person, and they're telling me, this is my aunt so-and-so, and that's my grandma and her 2 sisters, and that's my uncle, and that's their cousin, and all these people. That's just insane. But I don't know how it happens. It just does. But I just, I go where I can help. And I think I'm pulled there. I don't know if I have a team that picks me up and takes me. I don't know how it happens because I certainly don't do it intentionally or look for places to go. It's just I arrive, I do what I do, and that's it. But the fact that it got validated was just completely mind-blowing. That was amazing.
Yeah, that is incredible. Fantastic stories. So it does seem like something is drawn to you then. You're sought out for some reason. That's amazing. As this stuff happens, can you call us back and let us know? I'd love to hear some of these stories as they develop and as you're maybe you're in touch with something. Clearly, I'm not sure what that is, but yeah, definitely good stuff. Your doll stories gave me a little chill.
Yeah, I could do the whole show. Like probably 3 or 4 of them. But
all right, cool.
But yeah,
cool.
The doll thing. As soon as you mentioned that before, I was like, oh, I've got a couple of those. But yeah, that angel doll was crazy because as soon as I said where it was, it shattered. And I'm like, that's nuts.
That's nuts. Like
that's ridiculous.
It was protecting itself. It didn't want to get captured or caught or whatever, right? That's unreal.
Yeah, I guess. It was just really mad.
Yeah.
I found it. But the worst thing is that sometimes when I look and I see something, they can see me. And, I have had things, pursue me after that. And it's kind of scary, but you deal with it. So,
gotcha.
Anyway.
Thank you so much for kicking us off with some fantastic stories. I appreciate you listening.
I love the show. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much for the call.
Good night.
Have a great night. That's Angela in Kentucky. Good stuff. She posted on YouTube a few days back when we were talking about ghost stories and dolls, and she said, "Oh yeah, I got some doll stories," and she delivered. Absolutely, holy moly! Or physical, actual manifestations going on here. What do you make of that, James? Jeez.
Oh, the first off, and that I don't know why I just didn't think of it because I'm so used to looking into these things, but I do believe there is something to do with the eyes. I can, even if there's not anything in any sentient being in a doll, eyes can be creepy anyway. So I do think that she's right about that. That was like the first thing she said when she called, basically. And but yeah, those stories, that's some amazing stuff that that happened. I do know what she means when she says that she doesn't try to go to these places or try to go to do the out-of-body experience, because I've had that, and obviously that's a different topic, but I know what that's like. And whenever I've had mine, they were not planned, So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the type of thing, again, especially recurring like this. Like, that kind of made me wonder if she did have some sort of like paranormal magnet sort of situation going on. Because there are people that can see these things, right? They can they feel them, they feel these presences. And I think clearly there's like, it's like if you can possibly detect them, the presence, whatever it happens to be, it's like they know. It's like they like, how we kind of know as people we're being watched. It seems like that may be the thing, maybe one of those catalysts that kind of start these haunting situations. They know they've been spotted, right? Something like that. But yeah, great story. Thank you, Angela, for sharing those stories with us. Great way to kick this off. And so tonight, what we're talking about, we're here with James, our good friend from Salsido Paranormal, that podcast. We're talking about dolls, haunted dolls. We're talking about haunted objects. And so the question tonight that I'd love to hear from you on your take on this, if you're out there listening, is do you think it's possible for objects to become haunted? I mean, there's lots of stories that go back through history of haunted objects and all kinds of different things. We've talked about haunted places and houses and this, that, and the other thing, but the objects themselves seem to be the ones that are maybe most dangerous. What was that term from eBay, James? Dangerous or something?
Yes, possibly active and possibly dangerous. Yeah,
active and possibly dangerous. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it seems like the objects are a little bit more. I don't know if it's got like a particular something to it that makes it more agitated, or I don't know. I did like what Angela said about the eyes. Maybe the window is the eyes, and so that's why these dolls in particular have these, especially the porcelain dolls, right? They have those weird eyes that just seem almost human. It's so creepy to look at that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So any thoughts on this? We got maybe a couple minutes left before we take a break on theories, or maybe the haunted eBay thing, real quick. What do you want to tackle here, James?
Well, just more comment on the eyes. I mean, the windows can be, again, that goes back to the whole portal thing. That they could be a way in and way out. And I do like the idea that it's easier for maybe for spirits to almost take the form of whatever they're inside, so that the eyes work better. I wonder if that's the case. But yeah, no, that's. I definitely think the eyes are a big part of it. Of course, it's not the same with all objects, because not all haunted objects have eyes. But it's still interesting.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about rocking chairs in the past, and that Zach Baggins guy, right? The guy from, is it Ghost Adventures? He's got a museum out here in Vegas where he supposedly has nothing but haunted objects, right? It's like just chock full of all kinds of different things, including that Dybbuk box and something called the Devil's Rocking Chair and all kinds of this other stuff. So I don't know. It does seem to be a thing, at least. Well, I'm not sure if you want to trust Zach Baggins, the TV star, you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. But I am saying that it does seem to be a thing throughout history. So yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. We're talking about haunted objects, dolls in particular, and love to hear your stories if you guys have stories on this stuff. Thank you to Angela for kicking us off with some fantastic stories here. And, well, that's the question tonight. Do you think it's possible for an object to be haunted, and why in particular is it always a doll? Right? The haunted doll trope. Well, we're going to talk about that tonight and keep on trucking. And love to hear from you. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're here tonight with James of Salsido Paranormal and talking about haunted dolls. Don't go anywhere. More Troubled Minds after the break. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're here with our good friend James Salsido of Salsido Paranormal. Check out that podcast. Give him some love. He's doing good work over there. And tonight, we are talking about haunted dolls, haunted objects, and we're taking your phone calls. If you have stories about this, if you have theories on why it may be dolls in particular, love to hear from you. You can reach us at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037, and we'll put you on the phone. Had a great call already from Angela, and we're looking to hear from you. So let's do it. Let's get to it. James, welcome back. How you feeling, my man?
This has been a great discussion already. Like you said, that first call was amazing. Such interesting experiences.
Yeah, and again, right, that's why we do it this way, because we want to hear. We want to hear what happened to you guys. If you have any kind of experiences with haunted objects or haunted dolls, Angela has had some experiences. And like I said, if you hand that off to somebody else and let somebody else retell it, details get cut out, but we heard it in her own words, and that's a very, very important thing, which is why we always do this show live. Okay, so let's see. What do we got? All right, we do have a phone call. Let's go to our good friend, looks like Matt in California. Matt, welcome to the show. How are you, my man?
How's it going, Mike? Good.
Doing okay. Tell me you have a haunted doll in your house right now.
No.
No, okay. All right.
It's one of those things, I'm actually scared of haunted dolls. The dolls freak me, or just dolls. I'm actually scared of them. It is the eyes. And I don't know what it is, if it's, I don't feel like I'm looking into a soul. I feel like maybe they could be looking out. The porcelain dolls, their eyes just look so real.
Yeah, there's something extra spooky about porcelain dolls. Maybe it's because they have sort of that, maybe the texture. I don't know. Like I'm the same. Like my grandmother used to have some porcelain dolls, and they would always creep me out. They were in this one bedroom, and I just wouldn't go in there. I just like, no, I'm good. No, yeah. That's fine. I'll play somewhere else.
So, yeah. So my personal story is about a haunted doll, but so my mom, she wanted to buy one off of eBay, a haunted doll. And I was like, you know me, I was like, nope, I don't want nothing to do with this. But she did it anyway. She bought a haunted doll off of eBay. And it took a long time to come because it was coming from England. And it took a month or two. And then, like, all of a sudden, like, for no reason whatsoever, mysteriously, like, the doll ended up getting shipped back to the original owner. Like, it never came. And so we tracked it. It came all the way to California, and it came to our post office. But then it just, like, mysteriously went back to the owner. And I'm wondering, there's all kinds of weird things that could happen. Like, I just said, it wasn't meant to be, but it could be like the haunted doll, like, felt my fear, or like didn't want it to be around me, or like, I don't know, maybe like someone said this in the chat on another show, is like maybe the UPS, like the person delivering it, got like freaked out by it, and then just like it ended up getting shipped back.
Yeah, that's wild. So what if that doll didn't want to leave the owner? Like, right? Like maybe it manipulated. Oh, that too. Yeah. Right? It manipulated the system and made people ship it back because, well, undeliverable or whatever. And now it's back with its owner, haunting its owner.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
I'm open to. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you before you continue there. Did that ever get resolved? Did you guys get the doll back, or did it just never come back?
No, it went back to the owner, and we got our money back.
Okay, all right.
And that was that.
Fair enough. All right. Okay.
And I just told my mom, like, it wasn't meant to be. She was like, okay.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. All right. So then go ahead. I interrupted you. Go right ahead, sir.
I was going to say, I'm open to all the theories. It could be like, if it is a spirit trapped in a doll, it kind of reminds me of like a genie in a bottle. So like, wouldn't like a lamp with a genie, would that be considered a haunted object?
Yeah, I think so.
I would think it would.
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting.
Kind of like that, a spirit trapped in. But my theory, I believe more is, what I believe is that when you craft something, when you make something, so whatever your skill set is, whatever, if you're an artist or you build a house or you're a welder or a sewer, a stitcher that make clothes or whatever you do when you build something, that takes time and energy, and that is transferred in, it's like your essence, I guess, is like composed into whatever it is you're making. And so you can think about it, I don't know, like it's just saying like a little like piece of you, like fragment goes into whatever you're making. So maybe that could be explained for like some haunted objects or haunted dolls.
Okay, sort of like like an energy transfer, like a piece of you really kind of ends up residing in, the handmade rocking chair or whatever. Because actually, like Angela said, like there is some sort of like really deep connection there with some of these things, especially if you spend a lot of time with them, including maybe woodworking or creating things. Or like children that spend time with these dolls, like I was saying, like it's I had a blanket, when I was a little guy, and I carried this blanket around everywhere. I was one of those kids, But for some, it's a doll, some it's a blanket, some it's a pillow, And there's whatever these objects are, they just become so like fiercely attached, and there's definitely a huge energy transfer, like Angela was saying. Interesting stuff. Have you ever had any kind of other contact with a doll or any haunted object in your time there in California or anywhere else?
No, I just, like I said, I stay away from dolls.
yeah, same here.
But as far as like items, so like the thing we need to look at when we're looking at haunted items, or like I said, the energy in an item, the term is called what's it called? Draw a blank.
That's okay.
Psychometry. That's it. Psychometry.
Okay.
That's the word. Psychometry is like when the psychics say, "Oh, I need like something that was close to that person, like a ring or a necklace or a picture, even." To like, and the psychic like holds the ring, and then like they're getting like flashes or getting information that way. That's what that's called. It's called psychometry.
Okay, interesting. So it is some sort of.
That's what you need to look up, and that's.
Okay, go ahead.
And that's a skill. Yeah, it's like a skill you can learn, and then if you practice that skill and learn it, it's just like anything. You practice it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. But we all have it.
Okay, interesting. So David in the chat says,
"Hold the item in your hand."
Yeah, David says that means the guitars I create and design might have some of my soul in them, right? Yeah, maybe, maybe. Yeah. All right, fantastic. I appreciate that. I'd never heard that term. What else you got, Matt?
That's gonna be it for tonight. I wanted to call early because I know there's gonna be some good stories. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm hoping for everybody else. But psychometry. I talk about Annabelle, but I know you guys don't care about that one because it's Zach Bagans stories.
We'll probably get to Annabelle. So if we get into the third hour and the calls stop or whatever, we'll get into Annabelle and some of those stories. So we do have a bunch of those stories pulled up. So it may be coming.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, psychometry.
Psychometry. All right, cool. I'll pull it up and look into that. Appreciate it, my man. Matt in California, thank you for the call. Thanks for listening. We'll have a fantastic night. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Anything on that, James? We got another call we can take right after, but go ahead and comment on Matt's call there.
A couple of things there. The psychometry, that I've heard of that. I wonder if that can happen accidentally without people knowing it or without kids knowing it. And maybe that's part of why they get drawn to dolls in some cases. Because they're picking up on this energy from either the maker or someone else who owned it. I'm wondering about that. Then also, I do agree with the idea of the essence of the maker of the doll. I also wonder, and I was thinking about this as we talked about, I wonder if part of why we're creeped out by dolls is because they're supposed to be empty. But their appearances are made to look like they're not.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. The weird thing too about dolls, and in particular wide dolls, is it seems like they are shaped like people, right? So I mean, it seems like if you couldn't easily, like, let's say, possess a person, maybe the next best thing would be that something very close to the person, right? So you're kind of waiting until the moment's right, then you strike, right? Something maybe like that too. Yeah, some ideas here. I don't know. Like I said, no answers here. We're just kind of kicking out some ideas and considering what's going on. Good stuff, my man. Good stuff. All right. Anything else?
Yeah.
We got Jennifer on the phone. We'll go to her in just a sec. All right.
Yeah, let's get to Jennifer. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's go. Jennifer in Missouri. Welcome to the show. You're on with James and Mike. How are you?
Hey, guys. Yeah, so I do have a doll story.
All right. Go right ahead.
But, yeah. But, okay, so I was about 10. I think I was like 9 or 10. And I had like a lot of dolls, you know, like, of course. So I had like a shelf of them. And, but I was kind of sticking to the classic old dolls I had, which were all normal, like baby dolls and, pardon me, and just, you know, typical of what a little girl has. And this particular Christmas, there was this one doll, I really, really wanted it. And I went on and on and on. But it was kind of expensive. And it came with like these books and clothes and like the whole thing. And I went on and on and on about it. And so my parents, they did get it for me. And on that Christmas, like I didn't know they got it for me, but I opened it up and it was the doll. And I was like, oh my God. But the moment I opened the paper off the package and saw the doll, like in the box, for some reason, I was like put off by it. I was like, oh, you know, like, I don't know, like initially. And then I was excited about it because I knew it was kind of expensive. It was kind of special to get it. So, you know, Christmas passed on, and that evening, I was actually looking at the doll really closely, and I had all of her clothes out, and I was trying to play with it. And it had like pajamas and stuff like that. You could put it in its pajamas and this whole thing. And so I was like dressing this doll, and I was sitting on the floor with it, and I was just sitting there looking at it, and I was just kind of confused and like weirded out by it, and went to bed. And I had the doll with me, and I had the lights off and everything, and I was holding this doll because I was like, I'm gonna sleep with this doll. I just got it, you know. And I was laying there with it, and I just got this really weird, uneasy feeling. I opened my eyes, and she was like looking at me, but it was just really strange. I just felt like it was a person or something. Like I was sleeping with, like, if I had like one of my friends sleep over or something like that. Like it was like there was something there. It was like there was literally like a person laying there with me or something. I just couldn't shake it, but it felt like it was alive or something. And I threw it at the end of the bed. And I had never had this happen before. And I was like really confused by it, but I was just like, what, you know, like tossed it at the end of the bed. Then I literally, like after a little bit, I felt like something, it felt like I felt movement or something at the end of the bed where I'd thrown the doll, and I jumped up out of bed and I ran into the living room, and my dad was still awake. And he was like, what are you doing? You know? And I was like, you know, couldn't get around to it. And I was like, I'm afraid of that doll. And he was like, what? And he's like, what do you mean you're afraid of the doll? And I was like, there's something creepy about it. I don't like it. You know, went on and on about it. And I started to cry. And I didn't want to go back into my room where the doll was. And he went and got my mom up. And my mom was like, what? You know, what's going on? And I was like, I'm afraid. And he's like, she's afraid of the doll. And she's like, the doll we just got you, the Christmas doll? And I was like, yes, I'm afraid of it. I don't want to go in there. And I wouldn't go down the hall to my room. And my mom went and got the doll, and she took it away into her room. And then the next day, she gave it back to me. And I was like, I don't want it. I don't want to see it. You know, I was like terrified of it. And so she took it and wrapped it up in a trash bag. And she put it up in the closet in her room. And that was pretty much it. And I was just like, put it out of my mind, right? And then literally I moved out of the house. I grew up and I moved out of the house. And I moved like across the state, you know, across the states and everything. And then where my brother was living, and my mom came down there to live with him for a little while, and I was living there too at his house. And she gets me alone one day, and she was like giving me these things, like some china and like, linens and stuff like that. And then she pulls out this bag. It's been like years. And she was like, do you remember this? And I was like, I had no idea. She opens the bag and it's that doll. I was like, oh my God, Mom. Terrified. Still like the same feeling, like, what is the heck? But I was like, oh, thank you. I was like, her hair still looks pretty. Da, 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 da. And she's like, remember how scared you were of this? And I was like, yeah, I do. And I took the doll and I like tried to kind of position her around, and everything to present her because she was a pretty doll. And people would come over and they'd be like, that doll's weird. Like, I don't know. People literally commented on it. And I was like, I know. And I just couldn't put up with it. So I wrapped her up again in a blanket and I put her in my wardrobe, which is like a standing closet that had like a key. You could like close the door on it. It was so ridiculous. But it was just something very strange. Like I couldn't, like it felt like it was not like a doll. It definitely, to me, felt like it was a person who was there. It was so strange. And then the final end of it, I moved to this big old house, and it was this old Victorian house, and I came across her again, and I took her out and I put her with some boxes, and I was going to like sell her or get rid of her or something. And I came back up into that room, and I swear she was sitting up, like looking out like the window, like, because I think I laid her in a box, but it was as if she was like propped. When I walked in the room, I was like, it's like she's looking out the window or something. Like it literally felt that way. And then on another occasion, that was kind of like the last thing of it. I don't know if she got crushed or something like that, but her head came off. And I was like, I did not take her head off, And I was like, why is her head off? And because I went to move her and her head was like, kind of just was like off. So I put it back together. It was like a cloth tie thing. So I don't know how, but it must have. But then I put it back, and then I came back weeks later, came across her again. She just kept popping up, And you're just like, oh, there you are, But I fixed her again. And then when I was moving out of that last house, I was really on the fence about it. And I decided just to leave her. And I literally left her in the attic of this old Victorian house. And whoever moves into that house, they're going to be like, what's this? It's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, but I just couldn't move with this doll. And so it's gone. And thank God, like she's not like popped up or anything. But
yeah, that'd be even worse.
Oh my goodness. So it's not like she was, I don't know if she was haunted or what, but it seriously felt like a living, like a person. But whoever moves in that house, they're going to just be like, what's this? They're going to be terrified of it.
But it gave you that feeling like you were being watched, right? Like that, kind of like that predator prey feeling sort of thing.
Yes. Like it was somebody, like I look at her and I could swear, I was like, why is she looking at me like that? Like I swear, it was just this weird feeling. And I've had tons of dolls, like I had had like I was classic little girl. I had like tons of dolls, probably, I don't know, like 20 of them or something. And they were all special, But this one comes along and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, you're not right. What's wrong with you? And I just couldn't handle it, And it was the strangest thing. And I don't know what it was. But it was like I swear it just felt like when I was laying in bed with her that first time, when I was sitting alone with her in my room with the door closed, I was literally just sitting cross-legged on the floor and she was sitting in front of me. And I was just like, like, no, like this isn't right. And I was like, well, I have to try to like it. I know they paid a lot of money for her. And so I like laid in bed with her. And then I was like, oh God, you're like a person or something. It was just the weirdest thing.
And you'll like this in the chat. Angela says that will be the next caller. We found this creepy doll in the attic of our new house.
Yes, because I packed her, and then I was like, I don't want to put up with it. It's just too much, So I was like, I left her there with like a bunch of other stuff, like a couple boxes of clothes and some books and stuff like that. And I was like, there's just not enough room in the U-Haul, And I was like, I just have to leave it here. And it was really weird. It was like a weird thing. Like, I don't know, to leave it, because, you know, it'd been a part of my life off and on since back then. But I was just like, no, like, no way, like, we're done. You know? And I left her there.
That's crazy.
Because it was just, but I don't know how to explain it. It was like this feeling. I couldn't shake it either. And I had never been afraid of my dolls or anything. But that was it. And I don't know what it was.
That's pretty wild. So no other
brand new.
Other situations before. No other situations like that with any other doll in your life. Just this one particular one.
Yes, and I was like, it was like the last doll I pretty much got because I was about almost 10. So it's like it was almost like it. So it was very symbolic too, like in my mind, because I was like, it was pretty much the end. I was like, I got stuffed animals and things, but I just really, I was like, that was it. And what was weird too is my mom. I don't know if I freaked her out because she put it in a trash bag, like wrapped her up in a trash bag, but didn't get rid of her. But I don't know if she never brought it up again. But then when she showed up to visit and to stay for a little while, she like, I couldn't believe she just broke that out. I was like, are you serious? Like, she's like, remember how scared you were? And I was like, yeah, I do.
That's funny. That's good
anyway.
Stuff. Good stuff. So do you have a theory? We got a couple minutes left before we got to go to a break. Do you have a theory on why maybe dolls?
I think it's because a lot of times, well, with some dolls, I think when people carry things around, like especially a child, they really put a lot of energy into that object. They make them all. I mean, I would, like the dolls I would have, I'd like pretend like they were people, basically, take them everywhere. You know, that kind of thing. So, like, little children are very serious with their toys. I think it makes sense when in that case. And then in other instances, what if you're giving that much energy to it and they spend all their time with you and you're, like, attached, you drag it around with you everywhere and, you know, have, you know, I don't know. So it's very possible that giving it that much life as if it's real, treating it like it's real. You know, if my brother was too rough with my dolls, I'd be like, you're hurting it, you know, that kind of thing. So it's really strange. It's as if you do kind of give it so much and you treat it with so much care, like it's a real thing, like it's alive, and you treat it tenderly. And maybe it does. If something was a spirit, it's the perfect thing to get into, is into the arms of a child that, like, loves you. You know?
Yeah, great.
So I don't know. In that regard, I think it's kind of strange.
Agreed, 100%. I've got a doll story I'll tell a little bit later as well. It's more in like what you said about your brother beating up dolls. So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We gotta
go.
Yeah, we're out of time. Thanks, Jennifer, for the call. Amazing stuff. I appreciate it. Everybody follow Jennifer. She's got a YouTube channel. Scroll down, Rockfin, YouTube. It says follow Jennifer. Please do. Thanks, Jennifer, for the call. Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks a lot. All right. Comments on that, James, real quick, before we got to take a break here?
I think she's right. As great call as always. All great calls tonight. I think she's right. That makes sense. Their kids are basically putting their own imagination and their energy into their toys, their dolls. I can make sense.
Yeah, and you do. You treat it tenderly. I agree. That's if you were going to be an actual doll of some sort, well, or a spirit, why not be treated gently by your human overseer or whatever it happens to be. All right, we're talking about haunted dolls tonight, guys. Why are dolls likely to be haunted? Do you have any stories about this? An old haunted doll that you had when you were young, or any of the rest of this? Lots of great stories tonight, and we're considering why dolls, why haunted objects. Is this real? And looking to hear from you. If you want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're here tonight with our good friend James of Salsido Paranormal, and more dolls and you after the break. Don't go anywhere. We are talking about the alien abduction phenomenon.
The aliens are looking through your eyes and they're accessing your optic nerve. I'm doing fantastic. And through that optic nerve, they're transferring to your brain. People are random random images as they traverse neurons in the brain.
So we got, all right, so maybe,
and they also feel them planting or
broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
all right, good evening and welcome back to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're here with our good friend James of Salsido Paranormal, the podcast. And hello to all of you who may also have troubled minds. Now, we are streaming on Rockfin, D-Live, YouTube, and Twitter. We are broadcasting live on the Fringe FM. And tonight, we're discussing haunted dolls, haunted objects. And why do you think there's a horror trope in most movies and stories regarding the haunted doll? Is there some reason they're more likely to be haunted than, let's say, a rocking chair or, I don't know, an old Mustang? You tell me. And as such, we're taking your phone calls on this. What are your ideas? And again, if you think this is all a bunch of BS, that's all fine by me too. Part of the conversation. And you can reach us at 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can find the Discord link at troubledminds.org and the phone number. They're all there. Everything you need is at troubledminds.org. And also, please join the Discord at fringe.fm/chat. It's one program, Discord. It's just a couple different chat rooms, different folks, and really great people to meet over there. So come say hi, come meet some amazing folks, and let's get back to it. James, are you there? What's going on, buddy?
I'm here. Yeah. No, it's great calls and great chat, as always.
Yeah, as always, agreed, 100%. All right, so what's I don't know. What do you think? You want to talk about? How about, because Matt had that story about the eBay doll. Let's talk about eBay dolls. eBay haunted dolls. Did you guys know it's a thing? This is actually a thing. Hold on, there's an article I got. I'll pull this up. But it's actually a thing now that dolls themselves are becoming a commodity, like a hot commodity sort of market on eBay as haunted entities. Just in case your house wasn't haunted enough, if you wanted to double it up or triple it up and invite some evil spirits into your house, well, eBay has you covered. And so this article here from Mental Floss, starts like this: the uncanny rise of the haunted doll market. So let's talk about that. No reason to go into this. We got James tonight, so we were looking at we were cruising some of the eBay listings previously before the show, and there's no joke, haunted dolls on eBay. So what is that all about, man? Do you think this is just some sort of scam, right? You find some old doll at a thrift store, you buy it for $3, and then you sell it for $75 and say it's haunted, or do you think there's something to this, man? I say we conduct an experiment, but let's hear your thoughts first.
I think I know where that's going.
All right.
I think it could be a mixture of both. I wouldn't be surprised if it started out maybe as a scam by someone, but then people started getting interested, and I mean, people could maybe have good intentions and possibly either think, or maybe they actually do find dolls that have positive beings in them. I don't know if I like the idea of selling them. It seems like I don't know. It seems like it goes against if it's something good, but I don't know. But yeah, I think it's probably a mixture of both. As everything, there's anything in the paranormal, there's going to be scams and fakes, and then there's going to be your stuff that may be actually legitimate. It's definitely not getting any smaller, that market, I would say.
Yeah, well, exactly. And Matt adds his story is from 10 or 11 years ago as well. So this is not like a new market. Maybe it's gaining steam. I'm not sure here, but But surely you guys can check it out. Go to eBay itself. Let's see. I have the link here. I can show you even. Try searching for. They have a whole category called psychic and paranormal items, and yeah, you bet. There's a vintage haunted old doll bought at estate sale. Eyes follow nightmares. That sounds good. Let's try that. But there's actually eBay listings of haunted dolls, and so I'm with you. I mean, I think the thing is this, right? Clearly, if there's money to be made, there's going to be some people scamming out there, right? That's just the way it works. But like, imagine to your surprise, you're like, this will be funny. I'll buy a haunted doll from eBay and then put it on the shelf, right? And then things start happening around the house.
Well, that's the thing, because I think that's why it's important to consider all the possibilities, especially before you buy one of those. Because what if you just, it's just a scam. It's just, it's all fake, but I'm just going to buy one of these for fun. It's probably got some electronics in it or something, but then stuff starts happening that, it goes way beyond the thing just talking or moving or whatever. I mean, then that's like, well, okay, I don't know.
I don't watch a lot of horror movies just because I don't watch a lot of movies in general. But like, if I'm gonna if I'm gonna just be like, I'm gonna just waste some time and just turn on a movie, likely it's going to be some sort of sci-fi or some sort of scary movie. So I'm more likely to see something like this with like the haunted doll, And I can't even remember. It's been years, right, since these things I've seen them or whatever. But like the old trope is they put the doll up on the shelf, right, and everybody's like creeped out when they walk by. But then the doll starts moving around the house by itself. So first it's on the shelf, and then it's in the kitchen, and they're like, "Oh, did anybody bring the doll into the kitchen?" And they're like, "No." It's like,
where's that steak knife? I can't find it.
Exactly. Anybody seen that? Which is a funny story, by the way, because we just bought this nice knife set, and a knife vanished from our house. It was really nice. Yeah, it's just gone. Literally, it's gone. Like, I've looked back behind the fridge. You know how you got it on the counter sometimes? You might knock it off. I don't know. Yeah, so funny you say that. I had a knife just vanish from the house, and I'm pretty sure my dog didn't eat it for obvious reasons. So, I don't know. Maybe I have a haunted knife, the case of the haunted knife. But yeah, so this is pretty strange, this eBay market for haunted dolls. And I mean, I think at some point, right, like I said, an experiment should be in order. So if anybody is willing to offer up their house to a haunted doll, I may be into buying one and sending it to you. So let me know. Let me know if anybody's into that. We could do like an actual Troubled Mind science experiment, and maybe I'd do it myself, but my wife would be so pissed. She'd be like, what is that doll doing here?
So that takes care of that.
What's that, James? Sorry.
I said I already refused.
Okay,
so.
I tried actually before the show to get James to agree to maybe we could get a bundle deal on eBay and send him his spirit board and a haunted doll. That way we could get a 10% discount or something. And he was like, no, we're not doing that. Okay, fine. We're not doing that. Anyway, so point being is that do you believe that these haunted dolls on eBay are a thing, or do you think it's just people flipping thrift store dolls to make money, right? I don't know. Like I said, it would take a Matt's like, nope, not doing it. yeah. See, same here. Like I said, rewind 20 years of my life, and maybe, right? Maybe, but like I said, I don't I'm not particularly like in the believer category, but I'm not really in the non-believer category either. So I don't want to find out the hard way and be like, come on, there's nothing to this. Let's put this little doll in the window, and then it starts moving around the house by itself. Nope, not doing it. Anyway, we're looking to hear from you tonight. What do you think? Do you think this is all possible? And again, so we're talking about the eBay market for haunted dolls now, but of course there's other stories, going back to the famous Annabelle with the Warrens, which we can get into them as well. Some of the which James actually dug that out. I appreciate that, my friend. Where it almost seems like some of these paranormal tales of old are, in some case, they're definitely stretched for movies, for Hollywood. They're definitely embellished for sure. But right in some of these cases, you got to think that it's something started somewhere. Like nobody just calls like a spirit medium to the house because, for the lulz, right? Like there's got to be something going on for that to even get to that point, right? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about Annabelle? Let's talk about that for a little bit, I guess. Actually, before that, we're looking to hear from you. Phone number is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org. Click the Discord link. Get in here, and we'll put you on the show. All right, so we're here with James of Salsido Paranormal, and tonight we're talking about haunted dolls. So, yeah, let's talk about Annabelle for a bit. What is this Annabelle story? Do you remember? It goes back to the most, I think, current iteration of this is the movie The Conjuring, if I'm correct. Am I right there?
Yeah, it's part of that series. Yeah, yeah. And from what I've heard, the doll that they use in the movies does not look like the doll that the story says was the original doll. They used a different kind, I guess, probably to make it more scary. But it started out with I forget who gave it to this nurse, but someone she knew gave her a doll, and as soon as she got it, she and her roommate got it, strange things started happening in their home. I believe with it moving around, supposedly finding like blood on its hands, which I don't know how they know if it's blood. I mean, I've heard there are certain chemicals that once they're dried, they can look like blood. So, but yeah, and then the boyfriend started getting basically attacked. And things escalated from there until eventually, the Warrens came into the picture and, said that the doll was possessed by a negative entity. I don't know if they used the word demon back then, but I find it interesting that now it is referred to as a haunted, like a demon doll, which, I remember back in the 90s, it was not, I don't remember hearing about that. I remember just hearing it was a haunted doll. I find the whole, again, getting back to the entertainment industry, the whole, it's all demons thing, it's just really annoying. But, yeah, so that's basically how that went. There's different points of view as to whether or not any of it was real.
Yeah, and again, the weird part about the Warrens, we'll get into them a little bit too. But so the original doll, I've got it up on the screen here. I'll make it full screen so you guys can see. It was actually like Raggedy Andy, right? It was a Raggedy Andy doll. So there was like a Raggedy Ann doll and a Raggedy Andy. If you guys remember those dolls from way back, these things go back years and years and years, decades. And there's a little bit of this one itself doesn't look, that particularly freaky. I mean, it's not like some of those porcelain face dolls where the eyes open and close when you lay it down and stuff. The little pretty dresses, none of that stuff. It's like it seems like like a Pinocchio type doll, like a kind of cartoonish. It's got the red hair. It kind of has a nose drawn on. I mean, it looks like a happy doll, right? This thing looks happy. But in their museum, they have it locked up, as you can see, in this box. It's like literally locked up in this box that says, warning, positively do not, and there's a card in there that I guess says, open this open this container. So I guess that's another question, too. Do you think it's even possible to be able to put, like, the doll into this, whatever this container is, and close it and lock the spirit inside? Do you think that's a thing?
I don't know. I would think there had to be more rituals done to the box and surrounding areas for anything to be effective, I would think.
Yeah, it seems like so. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they did some sort of a ritual. I don't know, for this. I don't know. You tell me. That's the weirdness. Okay, I got you, Derek. Derek's ready to go. So we're going to go to Derek in Massachusetts here. So I don't know. What do you guys think? We're looking to hear from you tonight, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We're talking about haunted objects and haunted dolls. Let's go to Derek. What's up, my man? The Night Stalker. How are you tonight? Test 1, 2. You there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, my man. Go right ahead. How are you?
Definitely. Great show, you guys. Great stuff, guys.
Thank you.
This is pretty timely, you guys. the Chucky reboot series just came out last week on Sci-Fi,
Nice.
and I guess like 2-ish weeks ago, 2 maybe 3 weeks, the TV show Evil came on. Did a Haunted Doll episode, that like paranormal show on Paramount, whatever. Pretty good show. So for some reason, Haunted Dolls seem to be in the zeitgeist, I guess. I don't have my own personal story, unfortunately, but I still think they're pretty weird, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So would you actually buy a haunted doll to see?
No, definitely not.
For science?
I have my own. I have enough problems, you know. I'd be interested in like hearing a podcast about it, if, like an experiment about it. But no. I'm honestly kind of wary about getting like antiques even now, you know, because of the way that maybe like a person could instill some kind of trauma into the object, you know. And like the people said it earlier that perhaps it's because people are like imbuing these dolls, like children are imbuing these dolls with personalities and everything, which is definitely goes into it. But it might not be like ghosts per se that are entering the doll, or like demonic entities. Maybe it might be like some type of animism, or like panpsychism type thing, where everything, like panpsychism or animism, like they believe that every object has some kind of consciousness to it. So, but they wouldn't be like a tree or like a telephone pole wouldn't have like a human personality per se. It would have a consciousness that would be unique to the object that it is, from best to my ability. I mean, that obviously varies, but to the best of my knowledge, that's what happens. So, but if you were to create a human object made out of plastic or wood or whatever, then whatever tulpa or golem or thing that you're creating from scratch would be trying to imitate, I guess, a human, right? Because a chair would have some kind of like chair vibe or like chair consciousness that's unique to it, but a doll might have some kind of consciousness. It might be imitating a person. You might get a creepy vibe, like an uncanny valley type thing, where something's looking at me, but it's not quite human, but I can tell it's almost human, and it's staring at me, and I don't like it, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. This is it's odd enough that you have these things that are, you know, have eyeballs and 2 arms and 2 legs, but then you start considering that type of stuff, the panpsychism, and it may be, right, drinking some maybe juice here. If you're pumping all this energy into this particular doll, maybe it's going to wake up, right? Like you're going to give it some sort of like a golem, like it would be sort of like a ritual, right? Like, wouldn't you figure in the old days you would have some sort of ritual to bring to life an inanimate object? And if panpsychism is a thing, that means everything's conscious in some manner, but you have to maybe take the steps to give it enough energy for it to wake up. I don't know. That's creepy. Creepy thought.
And you can imagine just like a little girl holding her doll, like having some kind of traumatic experience happen to her. Like she just got like punished. She had to got sent to her room or something. She's crying. She's having this real emotional experience, just hugging this doll so preciously and just crying right into the doll. I would imagine that has some kind of like power to it, you know, some kind of, it wouldn't be a ritual in the same way that where like somebody, like a witch is on purpose trying to imbue a doll with a personality or a soul, but it'd be like an accidental one where they're just, you know, like a girl is just crying over, like sharing a moment as if it's like a real person, you know. Same way with, actually, but also like I am very much open to the idea that an entity could enter the thing. Probably more so than the animism thing, honestly. Like if an entity can enter, like I don't know. It seems to be that the elites or like whoever, people who are into this type of thing and are trying to like come into communication with entities, that a big part of the game is to like build a vessel for these entities. And it seems that you can't just like build a box or it would make more sense for an entity to be housed inside something that looks like a human versus like a toy like phone or something. I mean, I don't know, like it's a bad example, but it seems like the more closely it resemble, like I don't know
a person.
It seems like it's the next best thing from an entity trying to hop into a human being, which I think is most likely its goal. So kind of the arrangement that maybe like secret societies and stuff have been doing for a long time is to like create something that's almost like a human or whatever, not quite a human, and to house in that instead. But that just brings me to the robot point that I want to make. Like when I think it was when Jennifer called and they're talking about like the amount of having like the easy touch with it or whatever, being real gentle to it and treating it nicely and that kind of stuff. My first thought was like, what's going on with sex dolls? There's people out there who are like marrying their sex doll and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, does that kind of thing become haunted? And then jump to like, I know we're running out of time, but then jump to like a robot and something that's like even more advanced, even closer to human, I guess. Would an entity hop into that? Like, I don't know. If an entity can like hop into a piece of plastic, it would make sense that it would hop into one like a piece of high technology and stuff. And there was that story recently about Sophia trying to like have a baby, whatever. And my mind immediately just went to, oh geez, like what if some kind of crazy robot AI immaculate conception happens where an entity hops into some kind of that like now not only are we imbuing the robot with like feelings and stuff, that robot is actually having feelings toward another robot. And like, I don't know, it's creeps me up. But yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. I got you. So weirdness here. So imagine Sophia says, I want to have a baby. And so like in the LARP going on with like the creators are like, oh, haha, let's do this. And they create her own little Annabelle doll or whatever, right? And then the baby that happens isn't like, like a mechanical baby. It's some sort of like transfer of consciousness from Sophia to this thing. Ooh.
Yeah,
I like it.
Like the sci-fi horror movie version of it would be somebody gets a sex robot and something happens where it actually impregnates the robot. Some kind of like Virgin Mary or robots where it should be impossible for a robot to get pregnant, but it happens and it actually gives birth to some kind of like AI Antichrist monster. Well, that's kind of off the topic for tonight. But yeah, I don't know. As far as personal experiences, and then I'll leave. I wasn't into dolls, obviously, but I was a massive action figure person. Like I was obsessed with action figures, and I would just try to like act out movies and stuff, or just like I treated them as if they were real. To the point where like I wouldn't mix them when I would put them away. Like I wouldn't like if the Joker and Batman didn't get along, they wouldn't be side by side. Or if like I had a toy, I still almost kind of do this at the store. It's almost like a tick that I have, like an OCD type thing, where I kind of live almost animistically, where if there's an object that's like by itself, and I'm like facing the shelves or whatever, and there's like one object in the back, just as like almost like an OCD tick, I'll pull it to the front because I don't want it to be some part of my child brain to be alone. Right. So if that's to a box, what if I really cared about a doll? Maybe that would happen to the same thing. I know, great show, great stuff. James, crushing it as always. Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother. Derek in Massachusetts, a Night Stalker. Thanks for the call. You're the best. Yeah, great thoughts there. What are we doing tonight? Talking about, that's right, haunted dolls, haunted objects, and what in the world is this? Do you believe this is true? And if so, we'd love to hear your stories regarding the matter. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're here with our good friend James Salsido of Salsido Paranormal. More Troubled Minds and you after the break. Don't go anywhere. Oops, there we go. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and we are streaming on Rockfin, D-Live, YouTube, and Twitter, and we're taking your phone calls. Broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, and we're taking your phone calls. If you want to be part of the show tonight, the number to call is 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We're here with our good friend James Salsido of the Salsido Paranormal Podcast, and we're talking about haunted dolls. Yeah, that's right, haunted dolls. If you've got a story, you got a theory, why dolls? I'd love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. But let's get to Annabelle. Let's do this Annabelle thing real quick, because why the hell not? Let's do it. All right, let's kill this music. Welcome back, James. Hello, sir. How are you this fine evening?
I'm good. Great to be here.
Right on. You didn't by chance get a FedEx delivery to your porch this evening, did you?
Nope.
All right, I'm just checking.
And even if I did, nope.
Okay, just making sure. I'm just making sure, man. I want to make sure in case you got a package that you opened it up for the timeliness of the show. But okay, all right, I'm just joking. I
said, if I get one, you're getting a Ouija board.
Okay, all right, got it. Okay, all right. James and I keep joking about sending haunted things back and forth to each other. Okay, so deal is this, right? So we were kind of got a little bit into this Annabelle story. The haunted, probably the most famous haunted doll, and this is the photograph of Annabelle, which is it's Raggedy Ann, right? It's Raggedy Andy. It's it's an old school. It doesn't look that particularly terrifying or frightening or anything else, but there's a story behind this, and this is from cinemaholic.com, and it's How Did Annabelle Die? And there's an interesting story here. So there's two different. Let's say mythologies regarding this, and let's just read a little bit of this. So clearly Annabelle's probably the most popular scary doll, but here we go. In the film, Annabelle's creation is credited to two different sources. In Annabelle, we learn that Annabelle Higgins, a member of a satanic cult, holds the doll while she's dying. Her blood drips into the doll's eye, and Higgins' spirit enters the doll, perhaps along with the demon their cult worshipped. However, this does not tie in with Annabelle's story as we know in real life. All right, so let's talk about that real quick. So there's a couple mythologies here for Annabelle, and that's one of them. Is that there's a little girl, she's dying, her blood drips into the eyeball of the doll itself, and the demon through the blood comes into Annabelle. Thoughts on that, James? Yeah.
I hadn't heard that part, but that's, I don't know that. I never know what to make of all the satanic stuff, because some of that has been exaggerated, others proven probably not to have happened. It's hard to say.
Yeah, well, and I think that's the weirdness is that, even if you don't believe in this stuff, there are cults out there that are, doing these things, right? These worshiping dark things, and even doing like maybe animal sacrifices and things like this. And dare we say it? Let's not go there. But there are larger implications there that go past animals. I guess we could probably leave it at that. So just in that terrifying reality, we have this where one of the stories about how Annabelle, the original person, the young girl who supposedly jumped into the doll, the doll Annabelle, was supposedly a person, all right? And that's where the name Annabelle comes from. They were able to channel and contact the spirit itself, and it told them its name. So here we go. Here's the other story. It was the actual Annabelle creation, which is another movie that got closer to the truth and has rightly been dubbed as the prequel in the franchise. Here we see a doll maker and wife have a baby girl nicknamed B, and her name, of course, is Annabelle. Their car's tires need changing. I think I've seen this, actually. While they're on the road, the doll maker struggles with the tire while the wife tries to flag down an oncoming car. A bolt from the wheel falls on the road. B tries to help them and get it, and in the process, she tragically steps in front of the oncoming car and dies. The couple misses their daughter so much they pray for her to return. B's spirit, or what seems to be B's spirit, gets in touch with them and asks for permission to move into the doll so that she can be with them forever. Initially, they are glad to grant this request. However, they soon realize the spirit isn't B and has nefarious intentions. The doll maker secures the doll in a closet, wallpapered with the Bible's pages. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Wow.
Not a bad angle. Not a bad angle.
Yeah.
But okay, so I guess a word of warning, right? We talk about this often. If somebody says they're channeling angels or something, well, how do you know it's an angel? How do you know it's an angel? It's gonna tell you it's an angel, right? Because it wants to gain your trust. It wants to ask permission to move into your house and into your little Raggedy Andy doll, right? Yeah. So,
and again, angels, demons. How do we really know what the words are supposed to mean? We talked about that before in a couple of different shows.
Yeah, and well, exactly. So, what does it mean? What does it mean? Like as we said, the definitions themselves seem to be kind of foggy, right? whether it's aliens or demons or angels or spirits or ghosts or you name it, right? There's so many different jinn. There's so many different like entities throughout history that may have been mislabeled, right? Something to that effect. So, yeah, there you go. Lily says messengers. There you go. There's another good one. Yeah, exactly. See, lazy guy's got it right. OMG, I hope the sex doll I have doesn't get possessed. Totally. All right, so the Annabelle story, now with the Warrens, right? Okay, so Annabelle, the way this goes is, let's go to that one article with the Warrens, James. Let's see. Talk about them real quick. So we got the most famous haunted dolls in the world. Sweet. We got a phone line that just died. We're having all kinds of technical issues. Well, yeah, sweet. Super sweet. So we're looking to hear from you guys tonight. If do you have a theory on why dolls get haunted or something like this, or do you have a haunted doll story to tell us? 702-957-1037. I'm going to pull up this article, and we're going to keep on trucking, talking about. Let's get to the Warrens. Let's see. Where is the Warrens? There's Robert the doll as well. Let's see. What do we got? Where is this article? All right, so yeah, there it is. Okay, here we go. This is from Ranker.com, and so basically, the Warrens are the most notable people that have kind of been. They were involved in the Annabelle story. They were involved in the story of Amityville horror, right? That whole bit, and they supposedly were able to. Be like contact spirits, right, and do this sort of thing. So it's interesting that they have this thing. Is it marketing or is it what? Yeah, James, you're a little close on the mic there. It's coming through when you're breathing, just a smidge. But okay, so Ed and Lorraine Warren's most controversial cases. All right, so here we go. This is they were involved in Amityville, right? Of course, and if you guys are interested in this stuff, read this entire article because it's very good. They have the Annabelle story. They say here in this article could have been inspired by the Twilight Zone, which we'll get to that in a little bit. I've got that pulled up. We can look at that. The case that inspired the Conjuring has come under intense scrutiny, of course. One writer claims the Warrens knew the haunting in Connecticut was a hoax. The Devil Made Me Do It is a case resulted in a lawsuit against Lorraine Warren. So, these folks, Ed and Lorraine Warren, were, they're supposed to be spirit mediums, right? They're supposed to be folks that are, at least they were master marketers, right? I mean, because they kept getting involved in all the most, infamous paranormal cases of the last century, which it's good, right? I mean, if they're calling you, I guess that would make you the Ghostbusters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't know. It's really, I always wonder, I feel like in any situation, the truth is always probably somewhere in the middle. So I don't like to say that they never did anything, but the article brings up so many examples of possible, discrepancies that it's hard to just ignore that too.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually more of a hit piece, of course. Like, who knows where the real truth lies? I agree with you 100% there. But it is again, right? So it's about, when you're talking about these type of, super famous psychics and mediums and things, like who's real and who's not. It's kind of like the eBay dolls, right? Like, you're not going to know really until you order one and, start yelling at it or something and see if something happens. You know what I mean? What's that guy? What's the dude's name? From his name's Zach Baggins, that guy, right?
Yeah.
I always joke about him, how he comes in and he just starts like screaming at like the ghosts. He's like, trying to agitate them or whatever it's called. But yeah, it's like, okay, so until you order the doll from eBay and start screaming at it to maybe have some things happen, I don't know. So this is a little bit weird how these guys, the Warrens, are very much involved in all of these like most famous paranormal cases. And when that's the type of thing, so either they're very good or they're very good at marketing, right? And so, like I said, it's one or the other, or maybe it's a combination of both. Maybe it is both. Jennifer says, I always found the Warrens to be charming, but it is a touchy field, very competitive, it seems. I think so, too, and that's probably what's happening here. And they did seem to be in the middle of everything as it was going down, right? That Amityville stuff, and yeah. So I don't know. Your thoughts on just how about spirit mediums in general, and maybe contacting whatever. What do you think about that, James? Do you think it's a possibility? And how often do you think they're frauds? I guess is probably a better question there.
Well, I think anytime people are making a lot of money, either by the people that they're trying to help or through the media, I think that can be a red flag. I don't mean that no one should get money for what they do. That's why it's tricky, I think, in a way. But yeah, I feel like there are some out there that are probably legitimate. I think it's important in not giving them a lot of information beforehand. I think you have to be careful how you do it, I guess, is part of it. And what information you have out in the open that they could draw on. And I feel like also if their statements are all vague, or they work with like letters, I'm getting a S or a J or and go from there. I feel like that can be kind of suspect. Again, I am not one, so I don't know how that works either.
Yeah, I'm sensing a presence, James. I'm sensing a presence. It's right behind you, looking over your shoulder. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what I mean. It's like that. It's like I agree with you. It's a male. It's a strong male presence. It's it starts. Their name starts with an A. Their name starts with an A. Does this make any sense, James? You know what I mean? And then you kind of lead me. Oh yeah, my Uncle Arnold, right? And I'm like yes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's more like theater back and forth. If you're kind of doing that, but. I don't know. Like I said, it just depends. I'm not discounting all this. I just know that when you have this type of thing, like James described, money's involved, and people being dishonest. Well, you never know. You just never know. So something to pay attention to. So what are your thoughts on this, guys? Why dolls? Can things actually become haunted objects themselves? Is it like Derek described with the panpsychism, possibly that everything is conscious, and we're just giving it power by hanging onto the doll and keeping it close to us, sleeping in the bed with us, and basically making these entities our best friends as children, and they sort of gain the energy, the power that we've given them, and they start to wake up and start to be conscious in some way. Kind of a little bit freaky when you think about it in terms of philosophy and science, right? Yeah, that's the weirdness. So I don't know. Anything else about the Annabelle story? Actually, let me read the phone number and then we'll get back to that. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Troubledminds.org. Love to hear your thoughts on this, guys. And there you go. There it is. There it is. Jennifer says, "Oh, I do have an Uncle Arnold. See, Mike is a medium. There it is. There, I just got promoted." Anything else on Annabelle and that particular doll story? Because there's this other one, this Arnold story that I don't know as much about. But yeah, I don't know. Final thoughts on the Annabelle story, and we'll keep on rolling here.
I think, again, anytime money is being made off of it, you have to look at it carefully. I think that's the biggest thing with all this. Anytime a lot of entertainment gets involved, that's kind of... You can't believe... I mean, it seems like it's obvious, but you can't believe everything, even probably half of what you find in the media about things.
Yes, definitely. 100%. Okay, all right. As always, right, we drink the maybe juice, but be careful. Too much maybe juice and you take the wrong turn down the wrong alley and you get robbed by the psychic medium, if you know what I'm saying. But okay, so let's go with... let's do this. Let's go to the Robert doll. Robert the doll. Now this is an interesting story. They say this is actually the most haunted doll in the world. So Robert the doll is considered one of the most haunted dolls in the world. In 1904, 1904, a boy named Robert Eugene Otto received a doll from the family's maid. Robert, who went by the name Eugene, decided to call the doll Robert. Not long after he got the doll, Eugene told his parents the doll destroyed his other toys and would knock furniture over during the night. When Eugene became an adult, he moved out of the house and left Robert behind. The house was converted into a bed and breakfast, and the owner said they heard Robert moving around at night, and he would often laugh to himself. Oh, that's horrifying. Today, Robert the doll lives at the Fort East Martello Museum. Rumor has it that the staff routinely receive letters of apology written to Robert by those who acted rude around him when they visited the museum. Jeez. Okay, well, there you go. There you go. Getting apologies because that right there. Okay, so how about this then? What if there's an actual doll like this that we talked about this not too long ago, and it's back in the news as well in the UFO community is what they're calling the hitchhiker effect, and I've brought this up before, just recently even. Is that let's say you were in the presence of this Robert the doll, and they somehow you pissed it off, somehow you acted rude in front of this thing, you discounted it was real or whatever, right? And then you go home, and things start happening in your home, and then like they said. A rumor has it that staff routinely receive letters of apology written to Robert by those who acted rude around him when they visited the museum. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that, James? I think that's a possibility. Does he send home like an extra special demon to people that have pissed him off? And if that's the case, oh boy, I don't know, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know what that is because I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
Okay, because if the mechanics of that really are interesting to me, because is the spirit inside the doll leaving the doll to cause these events, or maybe parts of it are living with the people or following the people, or is it multiple things that are actually in the doll? Just a lot of, of course, as ever, there's a lot of questions that I have regarding how that works.
Yeah, and how do you contain it? So again, back to that the Raggedy Andy doll there, the Annabelle doll, the original Annabelle doll. They've got it in this case like this. It's like a kind of a glass and wood case, and it's locked. But does that keep the spirits out or in or something? I don't know. And then in this case, I don't know how they actually store this thing. So Matt in California says that Robert the doll is at Zach Baggins, the Haunted Museum. That's right here in Vegas. Who wants to go down to see the?
Oh, they moved it.
Yeah, is it there? I don't know. I have no idea where it's at. But anyway, all right. So let's. Yeah, I don't know. So what are your thoughts? Like I said, it's back in the UFO community. That hitchhiker effect is because they're calling it that. Because of the space poltergeists, right? Okay, for lack of a better term, that's the tongue-in-cheek version that they call it. But when they go and investigate Skinwalker Ranch, some of these scientists, when they go home, they have weird things happen, and it'll turn on their cars kind of randomly, or in the electronics type stuff. Even what's his name? Travis Taylor, the blonde dude that's on. He's a scientist that's on the Discovery, or not Discovery. He's on the History Channel, and so he was basically saying that he did have sort of a hitchhiker effect, where after spending the summer there and investigating on Skinwalker, he went home and things were happening at his house, like whatever it was in Skinwalker followed him home. And so that's the weirdness here, is if this is the same thing with dolls or with, clearly it's like going to be some sort of spiritual entity, right? If it's haunted, it's haunted. So maybe they do follow you home, and who knows, maybe turn on your garbage disposal at 3 a.m. Is that the horror trope? 3 a.m. The devil's hour?
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, it is. I guess, in a way, it wouldn't be impossible for there just to be one entity that does follow them. If they're made of energy, they can probably go wherever they want to. They could go and follow that one person. and then cause whatever kind of trouble, and then just go back to the doll. Maybe even it's not even a matter of being trapped in the doll. Maybe they I think maybe in some cases they actually do want to be in it, and so it's more like an anchor than anything else.
Yeah, like it needs a home, right? It has to, like the genie in the bottle sort of thing. It has to have something it's attached to, and then it returns. So it can't continue haunting forever. But I don't know. Yeah, weird stuff here to think about. As always, looking to hear from you guys if you want to be part of the show tonight. Why are dolls haunted? Why is this a horror movie trope? And why objects? Why and is this like this hitchhiker effect? Which again, is George Knapp is talking about this in the UFO field regarding Skinwalker Ranch, which again is an interesting thing because it crisscrosses both worlds really. The UFO stuff and the poltergeist stuff, the hauntings and coming through portals and things like this. So I don't know, a lot of scary stuff to consider there. We can add that to the conversation if you guys want to talk about Skinwalker, of course, Skinwalker Ranch and the hitchhiker effect. But you tell me as we get down to the bottom of this and near the end of our time on Fringe. We got maybe a minute left. But what we're going to do, guys, is we'll do one more hour of Troubled Minds coming up. So if you're listening to us on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. But let's get your final thought there before we do that, James.
Yeah, I am seeing when I do searches for the doll, the Robert the Doll, it is saying Florida still. That doesn't mean necessarily it couldn't have been taken on a tour, I guess. I don't know. But I believe that the Florida location is its main home. But yeah, I love talking about all this, as always. Great stuff.
All right, so tell everybody about your podcast. Please do.
Yeah, it's Salsido Paranormal, and that's at salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. It's SALSIDO, and it's a true ghost story and general just paranormal, supernatural themed podcast. And love to have you all there and listen live in my Discord, and which you can find on the podcast page.
Which you can find the link to the podcast page down below on Rockfin and also on YouTube. It's always there. The folks that call in regularly, I give them a link and just leave them there because, like I said, they're helping me a ton. So let's be reciprocal. Like I said, we're not competing. We're helping each other. We're inspiring each other. We're sharing stories and we're learning from each other. And there's nothing better than that. So let's succeed together. And thanks, guys, for hanging out with us tonight. Let's see, time-wise, I think we're perfect. Spot on. It's almost like it's a happy accident every time, isn't it? But as we finish, the question is, do you believe dolls can be haunted? Objects, can they be haunted? And why dolls? Does it lie in the eyes, the arms, and the legs? And what about the hitchhiker effect? There's a lot here to talk about, a lot to think about. We're going to keep on trucking and talking about this. Like I said, if you're listening to us on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for a third hour. Or, sorry, see what I did there? Stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void on Fringe. Stay tuned for Joe Roop Lighting the Void. If you're listening to us on any other platform, including the podcast feed, stay tuned for a third hour of Troubled Minds. And be sure, be strong, be true. Thanks again to James, our good friend from Salsido Paranormal. Appreciate you coming on the show, my man.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. right, guys, you know the drill. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and we're still taking your phone calls. We're still talking about Annabelle. We're talking about Robert the Doll. We're talking about haunted objects, haunted dolls, the hitchhiker effect, Skinwalker Ranch, if you want. In the third hour, we kind of just get a little sloppy and just love to hear your thoughts on this and whatever ends up in the periphery. So that's what we're going to do. And We're here again with our good friend James Salsido of Salsido Paranormal Podcast, and we're just talking about haunted objects and haunted dolls. Anything you want to kick in real quick, James, before we take a quick 2-minute break and come back for hour number 3?
No, just glad to be here. Great stuff.
All right. Here we go. Going to play some music. Take a quick 2-minute break, guys. Do your thing. Top off your drink. Go to the restroom. Tuck the kids in bed. Whatever you got to do. 2 minutes. More Troubled Minds on the way. And here we go. Be right back. All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and tonight we're here with our good friend James Salsido of Salsido Paranormal Podcast, and we are talking about haunted dolls. And not just haunted dolls, how about haunted objects? How about how come these things become, well, possessed as such? Haunted, or why do they cling? Why do spirits or whatever cling to objects or whatever it happens to be? And in particular, why dolls? Dolls seem to be the penultimate horror trope when you're talking about Hollywood movies and scary things. And I think there's something to it, right? I think there's something to dolls being just a terrifying. Just you look at them, right? Even like a doll that isn't haunted per se is still. They have eyes, right? They look at you. It's like that mirror to the soul is the eyes, they say. And like Angela said when she first called in, it's like maybe it's all in the eyes. These dolls have eyes, and they're looking at us, and they're making these spiritual connections or such. And who knows? That's the question tonight. So as we continue, love to hear your stories. If you have stories about haunted dolls, how about add your favorite haunted doll movie to the mix of things to talk about? As you know, and when we get into the third hour, things just get a little weird because we can range far and wide. There's no commercial breaks, and just taking your phone calls one more time. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. So we have some substitute teacher type stuff. We can read some short stories about ghost dolls and hauntings and things like this. So we can do that. But as always, we'd love to talk to you instead, because that's what this is all about anyway. Anything regarding all of this doll stuff, maybe the Warrens or anything else that you think that we missed, James, that we should maybe circle back on and cover a little bit better? Or how you feeling, my man?
Oh, no, it's good. So I'm getting an echo, but let's go on now. Okay, I think we covered the Warrens pretty well. I mean, without going too deep into them. But I think that is something to do with the fact that they're human shaped. I think the more realistic it looks, the more creepy it can be. But I don't know. I'm just looking at Derek just shared this story here. Creepy doll found in house wall brags it killed the owners. That's interesting.
Okay, that seems a little terrifying. All right, let's check that out.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. All right, so this is from Mysterious Universe, and which is, again, another podcast. If you guys have never heard Mysterious Universe, those guys are pretty good. And they do full-on books. Like, they'll take like an entire week and read a book, and then sometimes even get the author on and talk about particular stories. So they do a very good job in depth and kind of looking at this stuff. But yeah, I've never heard of this one. So headline is this: This is written by Paul Seaburn. Actually, this is brand new, September 26, 2021. Creepy doll found in house wall brags it killed the owners. So here we go. Let's see. Okay, let's start from the top. You know, it's a bad sign when you're remodeling your old house and you find something unexpected behind a wall. You know it's going to be a worse day when it's a creepy-looking doll. You know you shouldn't, but you read the note the doll is holding. This is not an episode of The Twilight Zone, but things are about to get really bad for the owner of a house in the Walton area of Liverpool. Here's what the note said: Dear reader/new homeowner, thank you for freeing me. My name is Emily. My original owners lived in this house in 1961. I didn't like them, so they had to go. All they did was sing and be merry. It was sickening. Stabbing was my choice of death for them, so I hope you have knives. Hope you sleep well. Oh, shit. Man, why? This is Jennifer's doll she left in the house. It like crawled into the wall, wrote its own note, and now it's sitting there waiting for the next person to come along.
I heard about this. Yeah, I heard about this before the story. I remember seeing it. It mentioned in a couple of places on the web, just as a news story, just as like a video almost. So, which that kind of makes me wonder how real it is in a way, but or at least it did at the time. Maybe if they're writing an article about it, maybe there's possibly something to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's just the fact that, someone, just the idea that, okay, forget the whole haunted doll thing for a second. Someone left that there to mess with people. That's epic right there.
That's what Jay is actually a master carpenter, guys, and he says that is a twisted carpenter. There you go. Yeah. Now you know what to do, Jay. Leave little creepy dolls with notes in the rafters in the walls when you finish a job. You're like, oh, two final things to do. We just got to leave the creepy doll and finish up the drywall. You guys are good to go.
People try to watch while they're drywalling. No, you don't need to see this.
Exactly. Yeah.
Trade secrets. You can't reveal these to you.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah, okay, so Jonathan Lewis, this is from that Mysterious Universe article. Jonathan Lewis told the Liverpool Echo he had recently purchased a home in Walton and found an ugly patched-over wall underneath the stairs. Not wanting his new, to him at least, house spoiled, Lewis decided to remove the patch and fix the walls properly. Unfortunately, that's when his life took a turn towards the Twilight Zone. Behind the wall was an orange yarn-haired rag doll dressed in a pinstripe dress and bonnet. There was enough room that the doll was seated in a little doll chair, like she was waiting for him. That was creepy enough for most people, but A, put the patch back up and forget about it, or B, run screaming out of the house and call an exterminator or a Ghostbuster or both, or C, read the note the doll was holding. We know Jonathan chose C and found out, he had just moved in with a killer doll. So there's actually a photo here, so I want to make sure, let's make sure I don't want to put, sometimes they have like troll links in these things, and I don't want to like put up a troll link on the stream here, but okay, let's see. All right. No, all right, hold on. All right, and the photo. All right, here's the photo of the doll itself, and all right, so this is actually from the Daily Mail, which is again one of the most trusted source in news. These guys are better than CNN, if we're being honest. But let's see. All right, so the Daily Mail. Here's the photograph of the doll. Oh my goodness! All right, let's do this. Here we go. Here's the image. Here's your doll when you cracked into the drywall, and you see this. There's this little doll in there with a little princess hair and sitting in a little doll chair, and it has a note in its lap. What the hell? Okay, well, there you go. In case you guys wanted to know what a haunted doll on the walls look like, there it is. Let's blow it up so you can see exactly what's going on here. I don't know if you've seen this doll, James, but yeah, okay, all right, that's creepy enough.
Are the eyes black or is it just me?
It's blurry just a smidge, so it looks like the eyes are maybe black with like a white outline. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So anyway, Jonathan explained he'd been waiting about 5 months for the keys and got his offer. Oh, that's my dog. Accepted for the new house in April. He appeared in the video link. Blah blah blah. So there's the doll he pulled out. There's the actual photograph of the thing, and it's got the note sitting in its lap. Okay, and there's a picture of the note. Oh look! Oh, it's such nice handwriting. It's such nice handwriting. Are you kidding me? Get out of here, you sick people! Thank you for freeing me. My name is Emily. My original owner. Let's see. Let's go to this. They trimmed it off. Anyway. We trimmed it off, so there you go. We already read the note anyway, but yeah, there you go. There's the actual. Okay, that's a sick person, and yeah, there you go. That's what that is. Okay, whatevs. All right, anyway, so there you go. There's the killer doll that, yeah, I hope you have knives. And by the way, remember, I had a knife just disappear from the house, and I have no idea where it's at.
It's funny, and I brought it up during the show, you too.
Yes, I did, before I even knew about this. All right, so then I said I had a doll story to share, and so when we were small, of course, I've got two siblings, and one sibling in particular was attached to their doll. And me being the jerk that I am, because, siblings, you're supposed to be mean to each other when you're like 5 years old or whatever, or 7 or 9 or whatever, however old we were. I used to take this doll, his particular doll that he loved, and I would just like beat his head against the wall. and needless to say, my siblings didn't like this. But of course, right? It was like, okay, this is how I get back at you guys for being dirty bastards, you rat bastards. And so I'd take their dolls and I'd beat them. I'd beat these dolls. I'd smack them into the wall and stuff. So I guess if anybody has a haunted doll coming to them, it's me. But yeah, anyway, that's what. But yeah, again, the attachment is there. It's like you take care of them. You carry them around. Remember that old commercial, My Buddy and Me. Remember all that? Yeah, it was kind of that. Yeah, hey, come on, I got some stories about how they were really, really cruel to me too. So yeah, anyway, there's my doll story. So, but it was it was still, we had dolls. It was fine. It was like there were, back then it was the 80s. It was like the Cabbage Patch doll thing was in super hot, and everybody had a Cabbage Patch doll and all the best of that. There you go, Sid from Toy Story is based on Mike. Yeah, maybe, right? Maybe. But anyway, we got over it, and we ended up loving each other anyway, in spite of all the beating dolls. The best part is I never actually broke a doll. Like, I never smashed a doll's head in or something. So I was never like that, like cruel and malicious, because I could have done that, I guess. I could have like stomped heads in, but yeah. Anyway, all right. So do you guys have actually haunted doll stories? That story's not a haunted doll story, but it's a doll story, and that's all. That's the best I got for you. I'm sorry. 702-957-1037, troubledminds.org. We're here with James Salsido of Salsido Paranormal. We're talking about haunted dolls. And, do you believe it? Do you believe it's possible? And how come there's so many haunted doll tropes with, again, Robert the Doll or Annabelle or some of these other things? Actually, we need to get to the Twilight Zone regarding Annabelle. Let's do that too. But we'd love to hear your stories and your thoughts on this. What is it? Why is it that, maybe malevolent entities are going to attach to a doll or some sort of object? Or why are they going to steal knives from my kitchen? How about that? That's a little creepy that may be something that returns in the near future. Hopefully it doesn't, but you get the idea. We're looking to hear from you and your stories on this. So I know you saw, James, that there was a Twilight Zone connection with the Annabelle story and the Warrens. You up to speed on that?
Yeah. So this episode, I remember, I think I'd heard parts of it years ago. And I remember a little bit from the article. It said where this episode of this show was about this kid, and I think it was his father. Maybe it was stepfather. I think it might have been stepfather. Was basically not being nice to this kid, and he had a doll, and it was, I think someone else in chat mentioned it earlier, Talkie Tina. Yeah,
Tina. Yep, that's the one.
And so spoilers for a show that's how old now?
The 126th episode. It aired in November 1st, 1963.
Okay, yeah, that's a little ways back, but yeah. So basically, talking about our dolls, the doll didn't like the way the dad was treating the son, and the dad wasn't it a knife? Wasn't it stabbed? Wasn't he stabbed?
Let's see. I've never actually seen it myself here. Oh, we got the plot. All right. So this is an actual. So now this is what they've said about Annabelle the doll and the Warrens, and that So they knew the name of the doll Annabelle because the doll supposedly told them, the spirit mediums, the Warrens, right? But now there's a weird connection here to an old Twilight Zone, and not only that, right? We got Talkie Tina, this talking doll here that's creepy and clearly possessed, and right from an old television show. However, in the actual show itself, the Twilight Zone, they've got Annabelle is the mother of the daughter that owns the doll. So the name Annabelle is actually in this Twilight Zone episode from November 1st, 1963. So here's the plot. Again, spoilers for a show from 1963, but Annabelle buys her daughter Christy a wind-up doll named Talkie Tina in order to comfort her. When wound, the doll says, "My name is Talkie Tina, and I love you very much." Annabelle has recently remarried to an infertile man named Eric Streetor. Frustrated by his inability to have his own children with Annabelle, Eric directs his hostility toward Christine. Annabelle tries to persuade him that if he gives himself the chance, he will be able to love Christine. When Eric winds up the doll, it substitutes its catchphrase with antagonisms such as, "I don't like you." At first, Eric blames the doll's manufacturer. However, when the doll begins engaging him in a more elaborate conversation, he comes to the conclusion that Annabelle is playing a trick to get back at him for his treatment of Christine, which is the daughter. He places the doll in a trash can in the garage, but then receives a phone call and hears the doll's voice threatening to kill him. I've actually seen this one now. It's ringing a bell. Checking the trash can, he finds it empty. He confronts Annabelle, but she pleads innocence. It occurs to Eric that since his wife was upstairs putting Christy to bed, she could not possibly have made the phone ring. He runs upstairs to find the doll in bed with Christy. Eric takes the doll away against Christy's tearful protest and angrily corrects her when she addresses him as Daddy. He attempts to destroy the doll using a vise, a blowtorch, and a circular saw, all to no effect. He ties the doll in a burlap sack and returns it to the trash can, weighing the lid with bricks. Annabelle begins packing to leave, unable to tolerate his hostility and irrational behavior any longer. She says that Eric should see a psychiatrist. Eric begins to question whether the doll talking to him was just his imagination, and he offers to return it to Christy if Annabelle will stay. He takes the doll out of the trash and returns it to Christy. Later that night, Eric is awakened by muffled noises. He tells Annabelle to stay in the bedroom and leaves to investigate. Christy is in bed, but Tina is gone. Tina's the doll, of course. Going down the stairs, he trips over Tina, who is lying on one of the treads and falls, sustaining fatal injuries. Attracted by the noise, Annabelle finds Eric's body. Beside him is Tina, who opens her eyes and says, "My name is Talkie Tina, and you better be nice to me." And there you go. There's the Twilight Zone episode.
Nice.
There it is. But right, there's again we have so not only we have a haunted doll, we've got a murder, we've got right like this going on, like a connection with the young child, and then the name Annabelle is actually the name of the mother of the child in the series, and that's why people are like, oh no, these Warrens made all this shit up, and this stuff is not real at all. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
That is an interesting connection. I would need to find out how common that name Annabelle was at that time. I think I'd be interested to know that, because if it was a common name, I can maybe. I don't know. I can maybe see that it was just a coincidence. That the Warrens picked up on that or whatever, or said that. But if it was I don't know. It's really complicated. I don't even know where I was going with that, but I'd be interested to know just how common of a name that was at the time, and between that and when the actual Annabelle case happened.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, coincidences do happen, right? But you got to ask yourself, what kind of person are you, right? Somebody who believes everything happens for a reason, or thinks that we're just...
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're looking to hear from you guys tonight. Like you know, this is a three-way conversation tonight because we got James in the mix here. But I'd love to hear your stories, your thoughts on this. What do you think? What about dolls? Why dolls in particular? Why do they get haunted? We've talked about Annabelle the doll and the Twilight Zone possible throwback to where this came from. And what is it? It was Tommy the doll. What was the guy's name? What was the other doll? Robert the doll. Robert the doll.
Yeah.
Robert the doll. So yeah, you tell me. Love to hear your thoughts on this stuff. Do you think it is? Do you think it's real, or do you think there's something to it that's not on the up and up? Right? Is it once again right because it has an attraction, a Halloween attraction, that there's some other thing involved here, like clicks, right? In the old days, you didn't say clicks, you said money or press or whatever, right? But now, well, clickbait. I tell you what. So what do you think? Again, like I'm open to all the things here, but I'm not open to just trying to randomly order haunted dolls on eBay and put them in my windowsill and see if anything happens. I'm not into that. Sorry, it's not my thing. James, how do you feel about that?
I'd say no, thank you. Still.
All right.
But I do have a story from a friend about some haunted dolls. Actually.
Sure.
I just remembered it tonight.
Fantastic.
So this happened some years ago. I'm not sure exactly when, but my friend went to his girlfriend's house, and I guess the mom had a bunch of dolls along shelves in one room, and my friend and his girlfriend were in another room in the house, and they started hearing this soft thunking or thumping noise. It was coming from the room with the dolls. And, of course, so they go into the room. Apparently, all of the dolls are all sitting on these shelves, and all of the legs at the same time are moving forward and back. Like they're swinging back and forth on this shelf. And so they freaked out and left the house for a little bit after that, because it was not like, it wasn't random, wasn't these dolls were and these dolls weren't moving. It was all at once.
Okay.
So
that's not good. That's not good.
No.
That's not good. It's not one, it's an army. If you got an army of haunted dolls, it's time to leave. It's time to leave. So okay,
yeah.
So what happened? So they left, and then what
they left, and eventually they came back, and I mean, apparently it stopped at some point, but my friend never liked those dolls before or, of course, after that.
Of course.
Yeah, he didn't stay there much after that.
Exactly. Yeah, that would creep me out. Again, like I said, I haven't had any sort of paranormal experiences or anything like that. But if something like that happened to me, I'll tell you what. I had a pack of dog treats jump off my desk the other day. I was just like boink, and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, no, come on. Are we gonna do this right now? And it didn't happen again. But like, who knows if it was like kind of leaning sideways or something? Just the wind gust was ever just so when the air conditioner came on that who knows? Maybe it knocked it off. I don't know. But,
well, it's funny. It's weird how small things, you never know, because just real quick, at my grandma's house, which had activity in it, one time I was there in the middle of the day, and we were just sitting in the living room. There was a plate on the dining room table with some fruit on it. And it was one of those plates that had like a tilted, raised side, how like the side tilted up a bit. And this one, I forget if it was like a pear or a peach or something like that, actually rolled up and out of the plate and landed on the table. So, I don't know.
Right.
It's one of those I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I think we have, this type of stuff happens all the time to people, but again, right? Like if it doesn't repeat, I'm like, all right. Like, yeah. You're always waiting, right? Like looking around, like, okay, what's next, right? This is how it always starts. But oh yeah, we've got the missing knife, and then we've got the jumping dog treats. Maybe I've got a pattern here. Maybe I've got a pattern, man.
That is odd.
That's a little odd.
It's odd.
Jay says Luna has the Force, and she was trying to pull the treats down with her power of mind.
What about the knife?
Yeah, exactly. What about the knife? Exactly. But my Mrs. Strange, she keeps saying, "What'd you do that knife?" I'm like, I swear, I didn't do anything to it. It's literally a mystery. Well, whatever. All right. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about tonight. Love to hear from you guys. What do you think about this? There's more doll stories we could tell. There's a ton of this stuff. We got all kinds of lists that we can read from in brief here. But you tell me. Love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Is this real? Is this not? Is it again? Why dolls? Like Angela said in the beginning, is it because of the eyes? They have some magic in the eyes that is the portal to the soul, and so as a result of this. Well, this is where these entities are able to pass through and come back and maybe reside in these golems, as they were, right? Like, think about it. In the old days, they said that regarding us, ourselves, we were nothing. We were clay, right? And we are now lucky mud, if you ask the materialists, right? But then there's more. Well, that who knows? Who knows where this comes from? If we were some sort of lifeless thing with arms and legs, then, well, isn't that a doll? A doll is a lifeless thing with arms and legs and eyes. And I don't know, man. Dolls are Ouija boards. Go ahead, James.
If you think of us, I mean, if you take our consciousness or soul or whatever before it arrives in the body and after it arrives or leaves the body, it's basically a doll. It's a object that looks like a person. Of course, in that case, it is, but still looks like a person. But there's nothing in it. So that's a creepy thought right there.
Until there is, and then when there is, it says, "Hi, my name is Talkie Tina," and don't mess with me, MFer. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, what do you guys think? We got some doll stories we can read. We can go full on substitute teacher mode, but I'd rather talk to you. As you know, the third hour of the show, we do all kinds of stuff and read all kinds of crazy things and even play some videos if that's what it takes to get you guys to call. So 702-957-1037. Have anything we can bore the audience out of there, James? Any ideas?
I'm just trying to think of, what's funny about the whole haunted doll thing and about kind of getting back to Jennifer's story tonight about the way she had to leave that doll, which I don't blame her at all. Our stories, and it was funny how you were joking about how the next caller, or someone was joking about how the next caller was going to be the person that found it. There are stories I've heard on different podcasts about people finding dolls in houses and then strange things happening, and then you don't think of it being the doll at first until they kind of start noticing that things are happening around the doll, or, then they get rid of the doll. There are other stories, of course, where the doll does come back when they try to get rid of it. Just probably one of the worst case scenarios. So, it's just, that's definitely out there. It's definitely not uncommon for people to have experiences with dolls that are haunted and or things that are attached to dolls, or it's definitely out there. And if you look into enough podcasts about the paranormal, you'll find some stories.
Exactly right. Yeah. And that's what we're doing. We're looking for paranormal stories, guys. What do you got? We're talking about haunted dolls, haunted objects. We've talked about in the past the Devil's Rocking Chair with Zach Baggins and the museum down here. I should probably go into there. There is they say that people go in there and break down because there's so much negative energy and all this other stuff. I don't know, right? Like, do I want to put myself there? I don't know. Like I said, I don't really believe it, but I don't want to be that guy that ends up like crying on the ground in like a little ball of terror because, well, the devil reached out and touched me or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not interested in that. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Why? Like, why put yourself in the middle of that? But anyway, love to hear from you guys. Jay says we'll hop in. I got a boring story. Hey, all right. And check this out. We got Jay, who actually, by the way, is a master carpenter, and he works out there in New York State. Maybe we could, just kind of randomly send him some little dolls and notes that he could leave in walls, and maybe the Troubled Minds Army can become a thing. Oh boy, the prankster army. What's up, Jay?
Give him a mask. I'll give him you got to send him with a Troubled Minds mask, and I'll put him inside of the building that I'm doing right now, behind the baseboard.
There you go. See?
The wall cavities are open, so you have a solid nailing surface for the thing, so it'd be really easy to... That was a twisted carpenter. Whoever put that doll in that chair with that note, that was a twisted MF, man.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
We leave like a beer, an unopened beer, maybe a roach, with a little note, how much money we made working on the job, what we were getting paid an hour, a newspaper, a note that says, hide your knives, I'm coming after you when you sleep. That's messed up, man.
Yeah.
That's
well, I mean,
that's
if we're talking about bringing knives to a gunfight, we got a whole different story. So to be continued.
But yeah, you send them to me. I'll put them in the wall.
All right.
Don't send me haunted ones, though. Don't send me haunted ones. Please don't. Just give me a beanie baby with a messed up note, That's fine. Oh.
All right. Got it. If you have non-haunted dolls, Jay's taking them. He'll put them in walls with a note, and it'll be funny. Probably long after we're gone. It's still funny.
I'll tell you, as a carpenter, as someone, you go in there and you're like, tell the guys to tear down a wall or something like that. And they go in there and, they find the newspaper or whatever that somebody stuffed in there. Coffee cup, whatever. It's kind of neat, it breaks up the monotony of the day. I could see how that would be really funny, throwing a beanie baby back there with a really messed up note. But that is messed up, man. I would have never even thought of that idea if I wouldn't have listened to the show today.
Well, now you know. Now you just went 2 notches down in the ascension process. Congratulations. You became IRL troll. IRL troll. Yeah, we'll blame Matt. Exactly.
But, I mean, really, with the dolls, though, I mean, I have kids. It's funny. They go up there and they talk to them, I mean, they have, like, real conversations. And it's, like, to the point where, who are you talking to? My doggies. Okay. It's the energy that's put into them, the kind of thing that was going around in the chat and all about what we put, the little kids going around, whether it's the blanket or the whatever, Kids have a lot of emotion when they're little, and if they're throwing that into a doll, God forbid they die holding it or something like that, that's how I could see where they would get to be on the dolls. But I don't know. The thing is crazy. Dolls have always creeped me out, girlfriends throughout the time and everything else like that had them all over their bedroom. And it's like, we got 80,000 people up there checking us out, it gives you the willies. But I don't know. The one doll story that I have, though, is one of my uncles used to go to New Mexico, Arizona, that southern thing. Actually, I wanted to ask you about it. Do you know about Kachina dolls, Mike? Have you heard of those?
Yes.
The ones that are carved out of a single piece of wood with an Indian spirit inside of it?
Yes. Familiar. Vaguely familiar. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Extremely expensive. They were expensive.
Yes, let me pull up a example here, and yes.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's mentioned in one of the articles that I found, but
no, getting to something you guys already got. That's cool. But he used to always, when he went back there, he would buy them for my 2 cousins, and they hated them. And I thought they were so cool because, my side of the family has a little bit of a Native American Indian, and I was like enthralled by them. but they were also in the same way really creepy. Like, you know, they're like watching after you or something. They were supposed to be like a good spirit kind of thing, like the negative energy they were supposed to absorb and stuff. Am I making that up in my head, or is that what the article says?
I'm looking right now, but yeah, no, that is interesting. I've heard of them as well. I think I found it. Hopi Kachina dolls. I think
Yes, those are the ones. Absolutely, those are the guys right there. The thing that fascinated me the most about it is at the time I was an Indian dancer for at a Boy Scout camp. They had like an Indian dancing tribe there, and I was the hoop dancer. And the first one he came back was a Kachina doll of a hoop dancer, and I was enthralled by it. But there was something about it that just like stand away,
Yeah. Don't find the section here. It's not long. I can read it for y'all if you want.
Go right ahead.
Please. I can't.
Okay.
Battery issues.
So this is from a website called historyofdolls.com. And it's just a bunch of links to a bunch of different things. But what they say about this is Hopi Kachina dolls are dolls that are made by Hopi Native American people of northeastern Arizona. Their belief, Kachinas are the spirits of deities, natural elements, or animals, or the deceased ancestors of the Hopi. They believe that every year, in time from winter solstice to mid-July, these spirits come as messengers of gods to the villages to dance and to sing, to bring good rains for the harvest, and to bring gifts to the children. Before Kachina ceremonies begin, men of the villages make Kachina dolls in the shape of the Kachina. These dolls are then given to the children of the village during the ceremony by the giver Kachina. Dolls are then hung on the walls and studied by children so they can learn about Kachinas. So that's what this one website says. There's more. But that's interesting. Yeah,
that's really creepy because it's the harvest moon right now, when you're supposed to be planting your garlic and your over the winter growing, grains and stuff like that. So they're there in the spring. It's interesting that they would teach that knowledge to the kids, so they would think of those things over the winter when they had, not much better to do. If you thought about really, Indians, they're not staring at tablets or, anything like that. But, that was the thought process that went into it. And I'm telling you, whoever carved that Kachina dolls, the hoop dancer that my uncle brought home, that took somebody a really long time to do. You didn't whip that out in an 8-hour day, unless, not then, not now, because those guys are very traditional in the way they do it. They do it with knives and chisels and stuff like that, not drill presses and CNC machines.
Yeah. So here on this other one, Kachina.us, it says, Kachina dolls are traditionally carved from the roots of cottonwood trees, which once were abundant on and near the Hopi lands. The Hopi word for cottonwood is Paco, Paako, which means water wood, and the cottonwood's ability to seek and find abundant water mirrors the ability of the Katsinam to do the same for the Hopi people. Today's carvers may travel hundreds of miles throughout the Southwest looking for this special material, and some Hopi carvers purchase cottonwood roots from outsiders. Other carvers have resorted to using cottonwood branches, while still others have abandoned using cottonwood altogether in favor of more abundant and easily attainable material, such as tupelo, is that how you say it? A swamp wood from the southeastern United States. There you go. More than you ever want to know about Kachina dolls. Good stuff.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. My crazy doll story turned it into a history lesson.
Exactly, and of course back to the water portals. Night Stalker says
absolutely
Waterwood. They're directing how the cottonwood Waterwood.
In Ohio, it used to be the crazy carvings and stuff like that were done off of muscle wood, and muscle wood looked like a if you could imagine yourself being stacked, like when you're 12 to 16 years old, like when you made a muscle, all the veins popped out because you didn't have any fat on you yet. That's what a musclewood tree looked like. And the Indians there, I can't remember. I think they were Hopi too. In Ohio, that would carve the things out of them that you'd see in the museums and stuff like that. And it was the hardest wood that you could ever imagine. Like, you didn't carve something with your pocket knife out of Hopi wood because it would ruin your pocket knife. You'd spend more time sharpening than you would carving. And I see that same thing being with the water, always going back to the water. Cottonwood, I could see the root, the burl, that's what they call that wood, the root system. It's the burl wood, and the burl wood is always a lot harder. Like if you buy burl wood bowls or spoons or stuff like that, they're always a lot more expensive because it's harder to come by because you actually have to dig it out of the ground. So you're taking it out of the ground and the water out of the ground for your spiritual guide to teach you to spend your winter. That's awesome.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Got some good stuff in the chat here. Let's see. What's up? David says, that's hilarious. A gift to the future homeowners to decide decide to refinance and fix up the house. Right. You start knocking out drywall and finding haunted dolls with horrifying notes.
I'm only going to leave them in buildings. I'm only going to leave them. I won't ever put something like that in somebody's house, but I will put it in the office building for security mutual.
Yeah, exactly. Like take that, you creditor assholes. Steve, what's up? Steve on YouTube says it's almost Samhain, and could they have carved them when the wood was alive? Yeah, it could be easier to carve.
Much easier, way easier. I will tell you that. Like if you're building round stuff, like a Victorian porch or something like that. You don't go to the Home Depot or the lumberyard or anything else like that to buy the wood. You always go to the sawmill and you buy it green. And you start in the very beginning of spring, so it has all summer to dry out. And then you bow it in while it's still wet wood. Clamp it and nail it, and then clamp it and nail it. And that's how you make the bows in it. So he might have a really good point there. So if they're digging the burl wood out while it's still green, it would definitely be a lot easier.
100%.
Dumb things. Well, I mean, this is dumb things that Jay knows, just because.
Hey, man, just because you know them doesn't mean they're dumb. Come on now, James. Come on.
Just a carpenter. Just a carpenter.
Just a carpenter. All right. So what are your theory? What is your theory on why dolls in particular, right? So like we say rocking chairs, or people have described maybe carving things, maybe like the Kachina dolls, right? Like it's sort of like it's a process of, time and pressure, right? Time and pressure, love you put into a particular thing. Is there a transference of energy there? What do you think about that idea?
It's got to be a transfer. I mean, I look at it's not the Annabelle story. It's not the story that's in the movies. It's a Raggedy Ann doll. Those things are old. Those were hand sewn by people, They were hip forever. It was an American company. People went in there and they sat down at their sewing machine and they made them. It was just, that's a lot of energy. You look at the energy people put into your radio show. You put a lot of energy into that, and you get a lot of good back because you're putting good energy into it. I think we have a kid that has, the one doll or the doggy that they go and they grab when they're sad and stuff and they cry on and stuff like that. They're putting a lot of energy into it, even if though it's, simple and innocent as what a child would do. It's still giving that thing a lot of energy. Luna has the force because she can get the dog biscuits to fall off the coffee table. Good for her, but it's the energy that's put into it. I mean, and we go into these conversations all the time with the energy. It always seems to come back to it. The UFOs, where they get the energy. Paranormal, where they get the energy. We give it to them. It's really what I think about. My thoughts on the paranormal, living in a funeral home and all, is that if you give it energy, it has more. If you don't give it energy, it doesn't have any. I think that it's a real possibility, that dolls can hold energy. That Japanese island, did you guys talk about it? I know you didn't talk about it because I listened to it. There's the Japanese island with the dead dolls.
Japanese or Mexican?
I think there's both, isn't there?
I didn't know about the Japanese one. I knew about the Mexican one.
There's like an island of dolls?
Yeah.
Is
it
that
was
Mexico?
one of the things. Yeah. Did I not send you that one, Mike? I don't know. Maybe if I didn't send you that one.
I don't have that.
I got it right.
Okay.
All right. So this is another one. This is from Discovery.com. The Island of the Dolls has a murky and terrifying history. There's all right, here we go. The story of La Isla de Muñecas. There you go. You guys know I speak a little Spanish. The Island of the Dolls is intimately entwined with the story of Don Julian Santana Barrera, a native of Xochimilco, a borough of Mexico City. Don Julian left his wife and family sometime in the mid-20th century to sequester himself on an island on Tushuilo Lake. His reasons for doing so are hazy at best, but has soon become clear. Santana Barrera was not necessarily of sound mind. Not long after relocating, he made a chilling discovery on the shores of his island. The body of a young girl drowned in the lake. A doll came floating down the canals shortly afterward, changing the course of Santana Barrera's life and the shape of the island for years to come. And here you go. Alone on the island, Barrera took the doll and hung it from a tree in order to appease the spirit of the deceased girl. But at least in the eyes of the man who now considered himself the island's caretaker, the one doll was not enough. And for the next 50 years, Santana Barrera would scrounge dolls from the trash and from the canals and hang them from the island's many trees. Some he'd hang whole, others in various states of disrepair, headless, torso-less, and taken apart in other ways. These don't sound like the actions of a person with a healthy grasp on reality, the article says, and indeed there are many doubts surrounding this legend. The biggest question, the reality of the little girl who died. Many people, including Don Julian's own family, didn't believe that he ever found the girl, although whether they believe he made it up, imagined the experience, or was somehow mistaken is unclear. What is clear is that whether the girl existed or not, Don Julian devoted the rest of his life to her, and perhaps creepiest of all, even the end of his life had clear ties to the story of the drowned child. And there you go. There's the hanging dolls, all creepy style on this island. There it is. I don't know if it's public property or whatever, but there you go. You want creepy dolls hanging from trees? You got it. You got it.
Well, you can probably go there.
Yeah.
You might have to pay a fee for the boat trip.
Right.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before. I've heard that from different shows about that. Yeah, that's
There's one in Japan too. I can't remember one.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
There's some creepy doll. It might be a forest.
Yeah, it's like the.
I thought it was an island.
The suicide forest in Japan.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a scary one too. We should probably do a show on that, and like maybe that probably fits into the portal stuff, right? Like the kind of crossing thresholds, going into forests, and maybe nature spirits, and maybe other things commingling. What's up, Sherry? It says Amazon. Is there stuff in the Amazon as well? Yeah, I don't know. This is again, like I said, not within the purview of what we set up for the show, but that's okay. We can range far and wide in the third hour, and that's why we do it. I don't know. So Jay's taking dolls, not haunted ones. If you want to prank some people, well, we're I'm
only in the office buildings, just because the only person that's going to it's only person that's going to creep out is the person doing the remodeling. You know, the story will never make it to the right.
Yeah, all right.
But really, I've never found anything like that. You know, you find newspapers and stuff like that. There was a sleep center that we did one time, and the contractor was really shady. He put all the garbage in between the stud walls, everything, the McDonald's bags, the pieces of sheetrock, and it was the sleep center where people were going and spending the night to see why they had problems sleeping. And they just threw everything in wall cavities. There's a lot of room there, but that would be really funny to put a Beanie Baby there. You need to go home and have a beer tonight.
You're working too hard. Go relax. Here's put like a $20 bill in its hand for like.
I used to leave between $20 and $50.
Right.
Well, that's one of the funny things that I look back at now is like, the guys that were working for me caught me doing it one time. I used to put like a $50, sometimes $100 bill underneath the carpet pad for the poor guys that had to rip it out,
Nice.
You made a couple of $1,000s on the job. What's one $100 bill for the poor sap that's got to rip all the carpet and pad out of the entire hotel?
Nice.
Out.
Yeah, it's a tip. Congratulations.
Right.
Yeah.
It would usually be in a space where I did something kind of shady, like the tack strip wouldn't hold to the floor because the concrete was breaking, or
Yeah.
It's the carpenter's code, man. It's like all right, so I fucked you guys, so here's $100. Hopefully it doesn't take so long that the inflation is so much they can barely buy a 12-pack.
The first house that I bought and I remodeled and stuff like that, the bathroom was an absolute mess, and the plumbing was a disaster, but we buried it in the wall because it was still working, and we put a 6-pack up there on top of the sill plate, or the top plate, for the poor guys that had to deal with it the next time.
See, you're a good man, Jay. Jay.
I know, but wouldn't that be funny to I'm telling you, that guy that put that doll inside that wall was a twisted MF, man.
Yeah. Well, it looked like the handwriting of a young lady is what it looked like. Go ahead and call me out for stereotyping, but I don't know any men that I've ever seen have handwriting like that.
That was definitely a girl's handwriting.
Yes, exactly. So, that was like touche, fantastic joke. I don't see that as being from too long in the distant past. So this is probably sort of a modern joke that maybe even they, like concocted themselves. Wink, wink, right? And this is why we talk about these things, because you never know. Right?
That's what I mean when I was talking about who knows if it was even like a real thing, or if somebody set it up for media attention or whatever. I mean, you never know these days.
That's how you get clicks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you guys could take something and bash a hole in the wall, and I'll come over and we can bury in there whatever you want, and you'll never know I was there until you tore the wall down.
Right, which could be 100 years from now. Exactly. Well,
or 15 minutes as soon as we patch it, so we can get the pictures for eBay and sell our doll for enough money to buy some Bitcoin the next time it goes way up.
There you go. Bitcoin's booming, by the way. Jennifer says in the chat, children do strange things. I found a book hanging on a string that was tied to a nail. It was in between the side of the staircase dropping into the subwall. My mom said it was my aunt's. Her sister, as a girl, she'd hide it there and left it, apparently, forgot about it in my papa's house. So there you go. There's the kids do strange things. Maybe
you do find all kinds of really crazy stuff like that in closets and stuff. Like, one of the things that I do now is we go into a lot of the old buildings in downtown, and they would all have businesses on the first floor, but in order to pay the property taxes and the heat bill and everything else like that, they'd have tenement houses upstairs. And a lot of times those tenement houses get turned into college properties or office space or something like that. So you basically go in there and rip it down to the 4 walls of the building. So you find, I have, vintage 1910 pornography framed in my garage right now, where it's just some girl with her cleavage showing. Nice. And back then it was very risque,
It's probably illegal.
It might have very well been back then. You don't know. I'm sure if you wanted to research it and everything, you probably could. But those things were hidden in crazy places. Little holes in the wall or behind baseboards, or I'll admit this. I've actually moved a dude's bathroom 3 feet. The wall in his bathroom 3 feet, so he could put a place for his hydroponic system that he had in his habit form.
Hey, man.
The guy's dead. The guy I built it for he's dead. So, okay. You're not going after him. But he really did. He paid me to move his wall 3 feet, make his bathroom 3 feet smaller. And so he had a little hidden closet in there for his hydroponic things, But, when you go into those closets in the tenement houses and stuff like that, there's crayon drawings on the wall, how high people were, little notes, you find the cards in the wall, baseball cards and stuff like that. It's really cool, It's entertaining for the day,
like a time capsule. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, when we found the 1910 pornography thing, the one, let me go over and read it for you really quick.
Nice. Nice. I expect a picture, Jay. I want to know what 1910 porno is like.
I'll take it for you. I'll put it in Discord right now for all those people who haven't joined the Discord yet, because it's so cool, and that's where the cool kids hang out.
There you go. How old are you, Jay?
50. 49. I'm sorry. I'm 49.
49. God bless you, Jay.
I'll be 50 shortly.
And Jay works the Discord. The technology, it's a little bit of a learning curve, but get in here and come say hi, guys. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. You can share photos. You can share links. You can share ideas, stories, personal experiences.
On a telephone. And on the telephone, by the way.
Exactly. He's doing it on an iPad and a telephone. So you could also run it with, of course, your Mac or your PC And I know James is a big Discord fan as well. If you guys aren't in the Discord, get your ass over there. Troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Come say hi.
Yeah, but we all sat around and looked at it. It was like crazy. It was called the name of the book was called Modern Photography.
Of course it was.
And it was all these girls like laying on the blanket with their boobs hanging out. Not very. By this stage, this day and age, it would be very classy. You didn't see anything. They were never totally naked or anything like that.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you hide something like that in the wall instead of some doll that says, "I'm going to steal your kitchen knife and teach your dog how to knock the treats off the thing and then come get you"?
You know what I'm doing tonight, by the way? I'm going to punch holes in the wall and find out which doll stole my kitchen knife, because God damn it, this is bullshit.
But don't punch holes in the wall, Mike. That gets expensive. Sheetrock is expensive these days.
All right, yeah, all right. That's true.
I won't do that.
But what's funny about the whole idea of things in walls is also it's a well-known idea that renovation can cause activity in places. And sometimes when people find items in the walls, and it can be almost anything really, the activity will stop. It's like sometimes whatever spirits are there might want you to find whatever's in the walls. That's just a interesting thing that connects to that.
That was one of the things with the ghost hunters trip at the temple, is that the ghost hunters asked if they were happy with the work that we were doing there. Because we were basically tearing up their building. I live in the funeral home right now, And no matter how hard I try to work on this one section of my house, no matter what, it's always destroyed. Like a windstorm came and knocked off the tin roof on the part that I had on it, and the water came in and ruined more than that was ruined before. But the rest of the house, it's like, if we leave that one part of the house alone, and you don't go in there very often, the room with the mirror that I don't know if you guys have seen the picture of before, way back when we were talking about mirrors and silver. But if you leave that part of the house alone, everything else in the rest of the house is good. But like when the squirrels are running around up there, the cats are running around up there, and you have to go up there and kick them out and, you know, throw a board on the window or something like that so the rain doesn't come in. Other stuff in the other part of the house starts to go on. It was the same way with the temple. Don't go up and down the staircase. It's got the warp drive between the 5th floor and the 1st floor.
Yeah, that's wild.
And I'm really sorry I missed that show. I'm sorry we've been ill, but I am sorry, because that would have been a perfect story. Well, that would have been a perfect story for the Portal show. But there's just that when you went up and down that staircase, other stuff started to happen in the building. You'd hear the noises and things like that, get the creepy feelings and stuff like that. So what do you do about it? Don't go up and down that staircase.
Yeah.
Simple solution. Just, you know, unless you're in a hurry to get to the 1st floor, don't go down there. You know, it was just...
Yep. My dad was a doctor, and he said that, you know, if you did this with your arm and it hurt, well, his advice was don't do that with your arm. and he wasn't really a doctor, by the way.
But I mean, but it is, though. I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, it's like, you know, with anything, you know, what you want isn't the right effect of what you're doing. Don't do that anymore, you know? The paranormal is really, yeah, well, I mean, the paranormal really gets me about that. You know, if they're not bugging you, leave them alone. You know? I live in a funeral home, so, you know, my opinion might be a little bit different than most people's, but...
All good. What's up? Shout out to Phil. Says, I thought I had the call-in number, and it was, says it's the wrong number. Nope, there you go. 702-957-1037, right there on the stream. I typed it in. Also, what's up to Solani? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Troubled Minds. And we're just, we've devolved into the third hour chat here, but we were talking about haunted dolls a ways back. But we can continue that. Well, it's also kind of time to be done, too, so... I don't know. Let's wind this down. What do you think, gentlemen? How you guys feeling?
Yeah,
it's been a lot of fun. Yeah,
it's cool conversations about cool stuff, man. Always, Mike. You always get a topic. You got your research done, and a fun way to think about things other than the bad things. You know. We're thinking of having an intelligent conversation about something fun.
Hell yeah. Scary. Halloween. We have officially now 9 days, right? Depending on where you're at. 10 days where I'm at from Halloween. It's October 21st here. And it's coming. So we got a Halloween special plan. James and I are going to do something. And you guys are all invited. I'd love to have you on the show if you have ideas. We have a tentative plan. But love to hear your thoughts on what you want to talk about on Halloween, because we've done ghost stories this month. We've done haunted dolls now. We've done, what else did we do? We did vampires. We did werewolves. Yeah, we've done all kinds of stuff. So we've been all over the place. So whatever you guys want to talk about, basically, that's what we want to talk about. And so if you're into that, we will do a special stream on Sunday on Halloween, which is going to be exactly 10 days from now. And so we normally don't stream on Sunday, but we will do an extra special stream that night. And we're not sure how we're going to structure it. Maybe we just do a marathon and James does a show and I'm on that show, and then we do that, and then we quit that show and then do Troubled Minds also, and then we do the show after that. And Yeah. So again, we're open to we're flexible here, and love to hear what you guys want to talk about on Halloween as we get together. And maybe I won't do any lights. I'll light some candles instead, and we'll I don't know. I'll broadcast from a circle of salt or something. But
not a bad idea.
But
it's true,
right? Not a bad idea. But yeah, so that's what's up. That's what's going on. So as we wind this down, final thoughts, guys. Let's do this. Let's wrap this up.
I'd just say haunted dolls, and like anything in the paranormal, just careful and respect it, and trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it might not be right. It's probably not right. So that's it for me.
Okay. Actually, let's stop final thoughts because we got a phone call coming in. So let's do that first. So, James, put that in your back pocket. I'm going to ask you again. Let's make it different next time. Come on. Let's make it different next time. Come on, James. All right. The challenge is on. All right, let's do it. Looks like we got... looks like Phil in Washington State. Welcome, Phil. Welcome to the show. You're on with James, Mike, and Jay. How are you tonight? Oh, crap. I'm sorry. I think I muted that when the phone line dropped. Hold on just one moment. Test 1, 2. Can you hear us? Sorry about that. That was my fault. I had you muted. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead, sir.
Okay. Hey, so haunted dolls, that can be something that can be created, I kind of think. And you're not going to like the way that you would create them, but hello?
Yeah, I hear you. We're not going to like the way you would create them.
Okay.
So how are they created then? Do you have an idea?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have an idea how they would be created. It would be you take a bone from the child that you want to inhabit this doll, and then you just sew it in there, and you do a certain spell to attach that essence to the doll. So then you have, and then if you've got a group of people, like a coven that's into this dark, nasty stuff, then you can kind of form a thought form or a Gregor, create a Gregor also to kind of give it more energy or Kai, or so it can be animated and do crazy things.
Gotcha. So there is a way to do this, and it is basically akin to blood magic, that type of thing?
Well, I mean, bone, yeah, or you could use the blood of a child too, yeah. I mean, that would be a ritual sacrifice. This gets into that satanic shit, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's
the only way I think that a doll would be. The other way would be, if the child died with the doll in its hands, then it would take on kind of that essence, the ba of as the Egyptians see it, the ka, the ba. Ka is the one that flies away, the bird. The ba is the one that stays with the body and watches it decay. And that's why they do what they do to the body so it doesn't decay. It keeps the ba there instead of wandering around as a ghost.
Right. Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, this is that's I don't recommend that, guys. That blood magic stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. But okay. So
yeah, I know. I'm not recommending that. Not at all. No.
Right.
Just because I studied esoteric stuff. So I know about this stuff, but I don't do it. It's
gotcha.
Not a thing I want to be attached to.
Yeah, absolutely, right. So what are your thoughts on?
I didn't tell you all the things that you got to do this. So
okay, that's good. Thank you for that. Let's not share the secrets of dark sorcery on the air. All right, but how about this? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, you have to know the dark shit so that you know how to defend against it, though, brother. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's true. I can buy that for sure.
There's a way to defend against this thing. That's all I'm going to say too. So that gets into your calling on archangels or something like that to kind of negate that.
Right.
Free the soul. attachment.
All right. So how about this? How about what's your thought on like that hitchhiker thing? I don't know if you caught that when we were talking about that. So they say that some particular dolls, right? Like if you insult them or whatever else, that they're able to attach a spirit to you or something like this to maybe follow you home, even though it's not your doll. What is that? You got a take on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, for the uninitiated, I suppose that's possible that you would have could get an attachment and not know it. I would damn sure know it. Of course, if I saw something like that, I would be clearing that sucker. I would just do it. I mean, I'm a Reiki healer for a long time, man. I can clear that stuff out. I can. I have. And, that's the thing to do. You don't turn your back on it. You just clean it out. You call on the light. And that generally takes care of most everything.
Okay. Gotcha. So it is a thing.
No, I mean, when you're talking, and also there's, portals get opened up from people doing this stuff like this too. So, but I mean, I think mostly if you're going to have a haunted doll, it's because something has been done to it like that. One of the two things. I'm talking about that. Doll dying, being in the hands of the dying child, or they actually, use part of the child in the doll, making of the doll.
All right, interesting. That should have been actually part of the thing tonight. How would you make a haunted doll? Is it possible to infuse an essence into it? Good stuff, man. Good stuff. I appreciate it. What are your thoughts on the rest of this, Phil? What we got you on? I appreciate you calling, my friend.
Well, you started to explain that other thing that I wasn't part of that. I might have a thing on it. If you can remind me of what it was that you were starting on the other earlier in the show, because I just come on here just a few minutes ago. I saw that you were live.
Yeah, no problem. Just basically, is it possible for objects to be haunted, and in particular, why dolls specifically? Because it seems like dolls seem to be the most probably common thing that happens when you talk about hauntings, right? We got the Annabelle doll, right? Which was the Raggedy Ann, Andy. We got the other doll. What's his name? I keep wanting to say
Robert. Sorry, yeah, Robert.
Robert the doll. Yeah. So there's some other, like there's a lot of pretty famous dolls. It's pretty infamous in like the horror movie tropes and that type of thing. So the question tonight basically is, do you believe objects can be haunted, and why in particular do dolls seem to be the most prevalent? That was the question.
Well, I mean, it goes back to ancient witchcraft, right? It's the puppet. Oftentimes they create these little dolls with herbs and whatnot, and to heal a person, but they could also use it, to stick needles in it and cause pain. So, so I mean, this is that I think is probably where that mythos came up from, because of that kind of magic going on back then. Not that it isn't going on today. I'm not saying that it just stopped all of a sudden. I just don't know about it.
Gotcha. All right.
I don't know of anybody that's doing it right now.
Gotcha. You're not required to know all the answers. That's okay, sir. You're good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's something that's the knowledge is out there that people could learn how to do that and do. So I'm saying it's totally possible that these things are being created just as we speak.
Right? Wait. Are you saying this show tonight made some haunted doll somewhere? Come on now.
No, I don't know that. It's just Halloween, brother.
All right.
I'm pretty sure there's some witches out there that are making a puppet, and for maybe to heal somebody, and maybe to kill somebody. That's just what I'm saying.
Gotcha. All right. So puppet dolls, voodoo dolls. Maybe we'll work that into the Halloween special. I think that's probably something we could talk about as well. Great stuff, my man. What else you got? What else you got?
Well, what else I got is that it is where Mercury has gone direct, Jupiter and Saturn are all direct. So of the 6 planets that are retrograde, we've got 3 of them going the right direction, going with us for a while. So things are looking up, my friends.
Okay, good. So we got some positive
be
news
good
here.
to each other.
Nice.
I mean, be most excellent to each other, as somebody said.
Amen to that. Amen to that. This is Phil has a YouTube channel, by the way. If you guys want to give Phil some love, pretty please, I would hope that you would. He calls in and shares his thoughts from time to time. I'm going to add you to the link tree as well. His YouTube channel is called Phil Christophers. I'll drop it down below right after we're done here. I appreciate you calling into my. Thanks for all your thoughts on this. And like I said, this is how we do it. We get together, be good to each other, and share some thoughts about crazy things. And you're in the right place, my brother.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I got a crazy mind.
Perfect. In the right place.
Have a good one, man.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, man. You too. Look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great night. There you go. I'll that's Phil Christopher. I'll put his YouTube channel. He's right there in the chat. You guys can see him, but I'll get his YouTube channel and put it in the link tree as well. Like I said, let's share the love. Let's the folks that call in and share and be part of this. Let's give them some love too. I'm sure they're talking about amazing things. I haven't seen a lot of Phil's channel, but I'm about to. Jennifer's doing good work over there. Phil as well. James is doing good work. Again, that's what I'm saying. If you guys are inspired by this, I hope you are. I hope you're part of this. Continue calling. Continue being part of this. And I will do my best to help promote your stuff. Just let me know how to do it. All right, James, back to you, brother. Now, give us another final thought. You're on the spot. It better be different, bro. Come on, it better be different.
Yeah. So it was brought up in the chat about different kinds of like dolls that are made for magic, which is an interesting idea, and I think that could be, like you said, that's something that maybe we could get into another time. So that's definitely something it was in the research stuff, but it was just one of many things, so didn't really get into that a lot. But great calls and great chat as always.
Absolutely. So we have some loose ideas for Halloween. Like I said, James has got some ideas. I got some ideas. But what do you guys want to talk about? 10 days from now, we got Halloween coming up. We're going to be doing special streams, and we'll be hanging out. I'll be eating candy corn just to piss all y'all off that hate candy corn, and that'll be that. And we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So that's let us know. Join the Discord if you have not, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Come say hi. Come meet some amazing people and talk about weird stuff. That's what we do. That is what we do. All right, Jay.
One of the things that I have to say about the dolls is I remember this, like, I don't know, it's almost like a joke. It's like the wife calls upstairs to the husband and she's like, do you ever feel like somebody's stabbing you in the back like a voodoo doll? And he goes, no, why? And she goes, what about now?
Nice.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. I saw it, and it was just like one of the things that came up in the last day or two and stuff when we were talking about this, and it's dolls and all. But I had a girl one time who kind of believed in that whole, it was a Caribbean kind of religion that her family was part of. And we used to write notes on things and burn them in palm oil and stuff like that to get rid of our negative energy. Just, I don't know. It's odd. You know, like Phil was saying, you know, a doll, you know, a child's doll and what they're doing and how it could be possessed. I mean, our minds could go so many dark ways, and what would cause a doll to be possessed like that? You know, the Annabelle story, or I don't know if I got it wrong, where the blood dripped in the eye of the doll. You know, it's something not to be messed with. You know, respect the doll. You know, Matt said in the chat there. You know, you respect it. If you don't know about it, respect it. You know,
leave the haunted dolls alone. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Don't be burying them in the wall. I mean, a Beanie Baby with "Go Have a Beard." That's kind of funny, but you know, I'm gonna grab your kitchen knife and come and get you while you're sleeping. That's just, why would you do that?
That's less funny.
I mean,
it's less funny.
Well, I mean, it's not. You're playing with something you have no idea about. I mean, what's in our minds and our knowledge that we have. I mean, the theories and things that we talk about. We're so much smarter than we think we are, you know, and that little bit of energy, use it for the right reason, you know. If you're the guy ripping out a wall, do you want to find the doll sitting there in a little chair all propped up and everything else like that? And
nope.
Or do you want to find that, hey, here's $20, go buy yourself a 12-pack and have some beers with the other guys, you know?
Nope.
Why would you do... I mean, what would you pick? You know?
Yeah, exactly. If you got the choice, make somebody smile. Don't make them go to bed in terror.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh my God. So, but then you're spreading on your wife, and then maybe your kids, because you just threw out a whole crap load of negative energy. You know.
That's the point. That's the pointing the bone, Jay. That's why I'm like, well, we ain't doing that. We're not doing fortune tellers.
Fun with Axel, though. I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's fun with Axel. You know, it is. It's a lot of fun with him. You know, and I don't know. I've had a pretty positive outlook on it with him. You know.
Sure. All right. So we have after the show, most times, guys, we go hang out in the Discord and have a chat. And the ideas continue. So if you want to be part of that, and you want to know who Axel is, and he gives readings sometimes with tarot cards, so kind of free of charge and just for the lulz, come say hi, come hang out. TroubledMinds.org, click the Discord link, and come join us. Come hang out and say hi and meet all these amazing people. Jay, let's do this. Let's wrap this MFer up. What you got, brother? I'm sure you got a quote for us, don't you?
I do. I'm going to recycle one that we've been using during the Halloween month here, just because it seems a good idea.
Perfect. Let's do it.
To the earth and those who lie beneath, to the paths that we are about to walk and those who tread on them before us, to the homes we will enter and once they housed, to the city and its echoes, we come in blessing and wish you only peace. If you're going to go check out crazy stuff, say that when you quit so you don't get a hitchhiker. That's just my personal advice to everybody.
There you go. Shut it down. No hitchhikers allowed. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, James. Everybody check out Salsido Paranormal Podcast. Link is down below. It's already there. We'll add Phil to the list of folks that call in and have YouTube channels. Like I said, let's succeed together. Let's talk about amazing things. Let's get together and talk. Let's consider. Let's wonder. Let's let our minds flow freely through the universe and come back to us as our meat puppet suit rather type thing. And, let's be good to each other. That's really what this is all about. It's about having a good conversation and being good to each other, making friends, and growing that family. So if you want to be part of it, troubledminds.org, click the Discord link. If you want to help the show, spread the word. Just spread the word. That's the most basic, simple thing. Spread the word and let people know that there's a good thing going on. We may not be 100% on point all the time, but what can you do? We're human. Meat suits, flesh and blood. Promise you I'm not an alien. I've been accused of being worse. But we're just hanging out, talking about amazing things. Let's do it. Let's get the hell out of here. Anything else, boys?
Great show. Thank you for having me again.
Thanks for being here.
Crush it again. Fantastic show after fantastic show.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And again, because you guys are included, if it was just me, it would be far less. We get together, we have a good thing. So let's get the hell out of here. So we're going to be hanging out in the Discord. If you guys want to come and kick it with us, you know what to do. troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. Jay's 49 years old, and he's working Discord. It's not super complicated. Just takes a minute to learn. We'll help you. Come say hi. Lots of good stuff. And yeah, let's roll. Let's GTFO. We're taking, by the way, suggestions for the Halloween show. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to hear? Halloween, we'll do a stream that Sunday night with James and you. So let me know. Let me know what's going on. There you go. David knows. Discord, thumbs up. Come join. He hangs out with us too. What's up, David? We'll see you in a little bit if you've got time tonight. All right, so as we finish, thanks for listening, guys. Spread the word. If you want to help us, come join the Discord. And we'll see you soon. If not, what? How do we finish? How do we finish? Be sure, be strong, be true. I ripped that off, of course. I won't tell you from where. You have to find it. And thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at Troubled Minds News, 3 p.m. on Twitch. That's right. No more Troubled Minds Radio tomorrow. A new show on Twitch. If you don't know what that's all about, come find us there. Have a great one, guys. See you in a bit. Ow!
Ow! It's a full moon, so it's so much easier.
It just flows when it's a full moon. It just flows when it's a full moon. All right, guys. Have a great one.